What's up, everybody? So it's 6 o'clock, and I realize that nobody's here yet, but that's okay because we're just going to cruise along anyway. I'm going to hang out here for a bit while I wait for all of you wonderful people to join us. There's a lot of little things that I want to cover, and a lot of things we're going to go through, and some fun to be had. Yeah, as people join in, we'll have some fun, and I'll get to down to business and to covering everything we're going to cover. All right. So while I'm waiting for people to join us, I'm just going to sit here and kind of flow through. Make sure you hear me okay. So if not, let me know. I can try to adjust my volume settings. I was having some issues with the with my streaming software today, so I'm just using YouTube Studio's live webcam feed. So not ideal, especially since I've got way too much camera for what's going on here. But we'll make it work. Well, I need to adjust that light. There we go. That's a little better. All right. Oh, and I hid my chat from myself because I'm good at that. And there we go. All right, there we go. And boom. All right. So, yeah, we'll just sit here and wait, first few minutes. And plus, it was a last minute thing. So, don't mind me. Magic of editing later. Handling text messages while I wait for some of y'all to join me. Alright. Okay, so yeah, this is always fun. This is the fun part of the live stream is waiting for everyone to join. Especially we're still in the early building phases, so you know. On the plus side, I got to eat my dinner before we kick this off, so that's always good. And some of you may be eating dinner too, and that's cool too. All right, so well, while I'm waiting, I guess I'll cover a couple things. I can always hit back on things a little bit later here. I'm gonna get my phone out of the way. So if anyone wants to support the channel via purchases or whatnot, obviously a lot of this whole live stream is about trying to expand our content, expand the channel, grow, do some really cool and interesting things, especially over the coming days, weeks, months, years, who knows. But yeah, so I still have some of the original Trash Can Panda coins. Let me see if I can get this. Ugh. Lighting, lighting is key. It's also annoying. This is why we edit. But this is a live stream. Okay, so the original coin has the original Whiskey 411 logo, and on the front, got the little Trash Panda. This one is our original coin from 2022. We've still got some of these in stock. We can also order more. This is the Generation 1 coin, the very first edition. Um, there is a design in the works for our future subscribers, for our paid subscribers. That's one of our milestones. Is we're shooting for 1,000 paid subscribers, and I know that's a lot. Put 1,000 people at $5 a month for exclusive content, videos, and hey, free coin. I think it's a realistic goal, and we're going to. I've got some basic designs down, but obviously, all of our subscribers are actually going to get input on that and help to get a little bit of what they want out of a coin, because I know there's so many options out there, and everyone's got a coin, and that's cool. Um, so how can we do different? How can we be better? How can we do things better? Well, that's kind of what we're going to do. Oh, who do I have joining me here today? For some reason, it's not showing me my active participants. There we go. Well, that's just me. That's fun. Okay. Anywho, so if you guys have a question or while you're here, just post something in the chat. I'll do my best to keep up. I don't expect that we'll have a lot of members online at any given time. I'm hoping that we'll get up to like 10 or 20 people online. That would be really cool. Cheers back to you, Mr. Great Shot. Happy to have you here. So you haven't missed anything. Obviously, I've only been online for a few minutes, just kind of covering a few little things and burning time while we wait for more people to join us. I know it's kind of random on a Saturday. I don't know if you saw, but I was just showing the first generation coin that we still have some of. And I was mentioning that we were going to be updating this. We're going to be doing some of these giveaways as we reach milestones for subscribers and that sort of thing, specifically paid subscribers. We're going to be giving these away, or the new generation coin, I should say. That being said, is as more and more people come online, so if you got some friends who want to join us, I do plan on doing this for a couple hours, and I hope to get enough people online, and I'm going to do a giveaway of either a coin, maybe a sorcery distilling wee Glencairn glass. Who knows? Just going to be whatever I feel like giving away. It could be something right at hand. Probably not going to be a bottle of whiskey, that whole legal thing. Um, although eventually the goal is to make my own whiskey and sell it, and that's a whole different thing, and we'll cover that. So how are you doing? How's things going with you? In the meantime, I think I'm going to, well, you think about that. I'm going to grab a drink. Let's see here. I want to save that for a little bit later. What sounds good off the shelf here just to sip on? I'm feeling some Glenfiddich. Feeling some Glenfiddich 12. How about you? What's in your glass tonight? A little heavier pour than I meant to, but that's okay. The more I drink, the funnier I am, or so I've been told. People like me better when I drink. People like me better when they drink. Oh no, I did not make the Bastards Ball. Injuries, expenses, things like that. I just was unable to make it. It's actually the first time since 2019 that I haven't attended one. And I was actually a Whiskey Tribe Baron at the time of the first one, but pre-sales, the tickets had sold out, so I didn't make it to the very first one, and this is the first one since the original that I haven't made it to. But that being said, though, I did make it down for a level 3 Somm this last year, about a year ago now. So that was really cool. And I attended my brother. He got his level 1 in February, so we were down there in February for that. But yeah, I wish I could have made it, and I look forward to making it, from here on. But sometimes life happens, and we have to adjust fire. They say when sometimes those doors close, and then you just have to demo a wall and remodel. So that's what I'm doing. I'm remodeling my life for times. Mm. It's nothing fancy, but damn, Glenfiddich is good. Ooh, Mahir Bay, nice. That one's a good one. I love that one. Um, I've never had a Kilhoman I didn't like though. I mean, they're just awesome. Everything they do, the whiskey that will not be named because if you tell everyone about it, then they buy it up and then you can't find it. I think one of my favorite ones I was able to drink was actually in the vault. This is before I became a som. I was doing a tasting with Daniel and Emma back in 2019, actually, and he had the vault had a bottle of the Kilhoman's Madeira cask, that special limited release. Oh, shit, was that good? I can't remember. It may have been a cask strength, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But absolutely amazing. I do love Glenfiddich just for sipping though. I actually have a cocktail. I have a orange creamsicle cocktail that I invented. That I love using Glenfiddich in because it brings out the honey notes, the light fruit notes that you find so prevalent in this. Um, that you mix it with this that it's actually sugar free. In fact, I created a sugar free orange creamsicle cocktail basically. Um, but yeah, with Glenfiddich, it's absolutely magical. Yeah, I mean, I think honestly they probably could do age statement stuff. Are you talking about Kilhoman? I assume. If you're talking about Kilhoman, then I agree. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I think they probably have the quantities to do age statements. You know what I mean? But I think I think that they enjoy going for those special profiles, and I really think that maybe that's why they're not doing age statements. And I could be wrong on that. I'd have to look into it, but that's what makes sense to me. And with all the kind of experimentations and special releases that they do, I guess as someone who's trying to build a distillery and who has to kind of think about all those different ideas, processes, legalities, whatnot, it kind of makes sense from a creative standpoint to avoid the age statement, just in my mind. But yeah, I absolutely agree. If you could find a Kilhoman with like a 10-year age statement on it, I bet it'd be glorious. Oh, if Irene Tan picked it, I don't even care what it is. Irene Tan could pour liquid diarrhea in a glass, and somehow it would taste like the most amazing whiskey on the planet. That woman has a nose and palate from hell. She has the most amazing nose and palate and blending capabilities of almost anyone I've ever met. Absolutely amazing person too. Mm. Right? Yeah, actually, I got to try her. She did that bottling. What was that for Kings County? I want to say it was. That she did a barrel selection and a blend for them, and she brought that down to our level 3 class. Um, and yeah, holy shit! Just there's no other way to put it. Holy shit! Yeah, that woman's got the skills. Like that's what I aspire to be. like if I get to a third of her level or even half of her level, I did something right. Nice. Yeah, she's down there a lot, as often as she can be, especially with doing a lot of the barrel picks and barrel selections and blends for Crowded Barrel these days. Being on board with them and having that little collaboration is really great. I was really happy to see that, and plus, she's such a big part of the school and this whiskey som program as well. Yeah, just an amazing person. Like that's all I can say. Just truly, truly amazing. Fun to talk to. super smart, knows all her shit, and can make a blend that'll just make your eyes water in a good way, make you cry, shed a manly tear, as it were. Mm. Yeah, it's one of the things I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do is so obviously I don't know how much you follow the channel or what me or obviously I've been gone for about a year. Been kind of having to deal with some health stuff. So I was at work last July, not this last July, a year ago, last July, and almost cut my foot off in a work accident. Yeah, dude, I'm a little jealous. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, getting to try her barrel picks is absolutely fun. And she just knows how to sell it to you too. You know, you're just like you're just sitting there going, you don't even have to sell it me on. I just want to drink it. Like that's good. Like you already made the sale. But yeah, so like a year ago, I broke that leg at work, and so three surgeries later, and about 10 days total in the hospital, plus all the rehab and everything. I had to kind of take a little bit of a break from whiskey, and then I had to spend some time getting the pity dick out of my mouth. You know, just from that mentality that gets to you, and you're not able to work or do your job or do a lot of things anymore. Especially when you're only in your early 40s, you know, it's just and you're been working hard for a living, being doing physical labor for most of your life. It's just a real kick. Um, but so yeah, I'm back. I'm here. I'm working toward other goals. You know, like I said, that door closes. You just knock down a wall. Um, but yeah, I heard the Bastards Ball was amazing. I really missed being there because I was supposed to. I was originally actually supposed to be there. Well, absolutely, yeah. If you were dropping off Brian there, then I probably met you. Yeah, I've been there with Brian many times. In fact, he was in one of my classes or two of my classes, I think. I can't remember if he was in my level one, level two, or he was at a couple of them at least. Yeah. Um, Brian's a really cool dude too. If you guys don't know, Brian Kilco Whiskey Musings, right? Isn't that his page that he does? Pretty sure I'd have to look it up, but I think it's Kilco Whiskey Musings or something right along that line. Uh, Brian Kilvey does amazing stuff. Does some that sounds right. That sounds right. Yeah, so level 2 is where, me and Brian were at, and but yeah, he's really cool dude, really chill, very knowledgeable, does some really cool, reviews, really good reviews, also does some fundraisers, things like that, so if you get a chance, check him out for sure. Obviously not you, you know him, but for anyone else who's watching this, or who does watch this, yeah, check out, Kilco Whiskey. It does really cool stuff. And that's one thing that, I try to do a little bit different here, and that I've been trying to do as a whiskey 411 as a community thing is I think the best part of whiskey and the whiskey community is that uh, we're not really competitors. None of us like yeah. I mean, there's this certain level of only so many. There's only so much support to go around or whatnot financially or what have you. But it's that we're all kind of supporting each other and making the whiskey community a better place. Oh, yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I know exactly how that goes. That's like I said, for due to some medication issues, I had to take a couple months off myself. I'll have to reach out to him though and make sure he's doing okay. I was gonna say I saw a couple posts from him this week, and I saw that he reached a goal for a fundraiser that he was doing, which was really great to see. Like I said, really good dude. I really hope that he continues to see that success and that success keeps building for him. Uh, I'm gonna keep sipping on whiskey. Hey, it's just you and me. So if you got any questions or any thoughts or just want to talk, I'm right here. You get the benefit of a one-on-one with me. I mean, sorry for your luck. Hmm, that's good. I'm really glad to see he's doing good. Yeah, that's rough. Like I was saying, if nothing else, this last year has taught me a lot of understanding and appreciation for just what we as people go through. Not even necessarily in the whiskey community, but I mean, obviously, a big part of that being, that's kind of the world we travel in. Um, but when you realize just how many good people there are, and just how we're all dealing with stuff, and how we all need just that little bit of support and friendship, it does amazing things, and it helps us to do amazing things. So yeah, I think it's great, man. I really do. Like I said, I'm gonna have to reach out. I know I'm friends with him on Facebook. I just put my phone over here. Um, and who knows? He may jump on and join us later. I doubt it, but yeah. And so this was kind of a random last minute thing. I just kind of decided I wanted to do a live stream because I was having some technical issues with my camera equipment. Lost a cable for my SSD drive. I got that in today, and then went to edit my video that I'd done and realized that I had recorded it to the Atmos, but had recorded it as a transfer, so it still had all the camera settings over it and everything, like a moron, instead of actually recording it as a video to the drive. Yeah, I was an idiot basically. So yeah, 15 minutes worth of video, just still have to redo that. So I wanted to do a live stream also. Oh, nice, nice. Which bar is that, or is that your home bar? Mm, nothing wrong with that. As you can see, I'm doing something very similar. This is actually my little home setup. Um, Obviously, kind of zoomed in because otherwise it's a mess and there's a shit ton of bottles. But I got little cool things here and there. You can see my little whiskey tribe certificate. Um, that's a sorcery distilling support one. That's as which is my brand that I'm in the process of building. And you can see the various whiskey tribe glasses. That one you can see is upside down. That's what I call my Patrick Cohn glass. That's my memorial glass. I keep that one upside down in memory of him. It's hard to believe that's been almost a year since I saw him. Oh, nice. Nothing wrong with that. So this is actually in my basement setup right now. One of the goals with expanding this channel and gaining paid subscribers, things like that, is the plan is to actually get an actual full studio, not just where I can do the video work, but also with different kind of sets, or the ability to put in sets, not just for me, but also so I can host other channels, other content creators, and things like that. I just want to do something that kind of gives back to the community in some way. I'm really big on community and building community. Um, I just think it's important. So how's it coming along? I mean, so you're converting it into a bar. You going like old school? You going kind of industrial? Ah, thanks. I appreciate that. Um, so yeah, what were you doing with your organization? You going like Western bar? You going like just home bar, industrial bar? What were you leaning at with that? Just curious. All right. And then I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. This is actually my I keep forgetting about my damn camera lighting. I have it set up. I have my recording lights on. Old rusty tin on the ceiling. The bar. Oh, nice. I dig it. Little old school. Yeah, I love it. Classic. So yeah, here's my actual whiskey sorcery distilling coin. I had these custom made last year, right right around the time I decided to try to chop my leg off. You can't hardly see the focus, but it says sorcery distilling in there. I call it the doubloon. It's unique. Um, it does fit on a standard Glencairn. The wee ones, not so much. I guess kind of if you flip it over, but yeah. Ah, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I had these made partly as giveaways, but also as fundraiser. To raise funds to help work toward building that distillery. I've given a few away, not many, but yeah, I took the time and had them made. They did a really good job with them. They're actually a black metal, a shiny black metal finish. Um, But yeah, I was thinking of something a little different, and took the old pieces of eight, which is where we get like 2 bits, because they used to literally just chop coins way back in the day. The old doubloons, pieces of eight, they'd chop them, and so 2 bits was a quarter, and that's where we get the old shaving a haircut 2 bits for a quarter. Yeah, that's where it comes from. I, I don't. You may have already known that, but so I just liked that idea and kind of ran with it and made a coin that's kind of looks as though you could do that with it. Obviously not made from silver or gold, because if I had that kind of money, yeah, we'd be having different conversations and doing way different things altogether. Be like swimming in them like Scrooge McDuck. Although I've heard that's very painful. I've never tried it, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Yeah, but yeah, it's been an adventure. Yeah, the only reason I missed being at the basketball, other than seeing everyone, because everyone there is always amazing, and I always have so much fun. Last year I was actually there with my daughter. It was her first time. She got to attend because her uncle couldn't make it, my brother. So she got his ticket, which was, hey, bully for her. And she even got to do some behind the scenes stuff. Like she got to hang out with the Whiskey Tribe Earls and Brianna, and Madison was there, and Emma, and even Rex and Daniel. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I was helping in the vault mostly, and trying to make sure my daughter wasn't too bored. But yeah, this year I was hoping to get down and do some drone recording again. I did some drone footage back in 22 at that one, and that was really great. I was hoping to get down and do some more drone footage, and that sort of thing. Partly for fun, but also it's just I like shooting video, and drones are fun, especially when you have like ridiculous drones. Yeah, last year. So were there a lot of events like that this year? Like I said, I haven't gotten around to watching the video yet. As far as the of the Bastards Ball from this year. So was there still axe throwing and things like that again this year? I knew they were doing. They still did tastings and vault tours. I knew that because every year. And was the new tasting room open? Was Alchemy close to done? I knew they were getting close when I was there in February. Oh, that's fair. I mean, I probably, if I were you, I probably would have won anyway, just to say I did it twice in a row. But I respect it. Let someone else have a chance to win. I get that. Cheers to you on that one. Nice. Yeah, I knew they had to be getting close, and I think it was a really good use of that space. Since as the welcome center and whatnot, when it was, it just never had the traffic in it or whatever to really justify using up that much space for a little bit of nothing. So I'm really glad that they did that conversion, and I have had the chance to see a lot of the work that they've been doing, and and I think that's is really great. And of course, I've seen the new Welcome Center, which is smaller but really nice. I mean, they did a really great job with that too. All the updates and upgrades that they've been doing out there are just. I mean, it's just a beautiful place. I love visiting. That I love visiting the whole Wizard Academy grounds and Crowded Barrel area. So, actually, if you look right here, is my bottle of amalgamation from a couple years ago. I kept it, still sealed, still original. Um, and that is the OG single mom, and that, of course, is the original Royal Bastard. So I keep those kind of in a place of honor. Not so much collecting as I just really like having them. And I think I still have another Royal Bastard in storage. Oh yeah, it's 40 minutes away. Yeah, I wish I lived that close. So I'm out of Lawrence, Kansas. So I live about 10 and a half, 11 hours on the nose from there. So uh, if I drive quickly and get good traffic, I can make it in maybe just a little over 10 hours, but generally about 10 and a half or 11-hour drive, which is part of why I wanted to build a distillery here. And that is the plan. It's one of the reasons that I'm doing this and building on this is the ultimate goal is to build Sorcery Distilling. I want it to be local. We're going to be doing locally sourced things. Yeah, yeah. Believe it or not, yeah, he's so talking about the trip that is. Up until this last year, due to finances and injury, the last couple of years, I'd actually been making between 3 and 5 trips a year down to Austin, and specifically like uh, the Wizard Academy and or Crowded Barrel. 3 to 5 times a year for like the last 3 to 5 years up until this last year. I think last year I still made it. Ended up going like 3 times. This year I only made it once so far, and that was back in February. I did make it down there 2 years ago for my 40th birthday. I actually, and this was a couple of months after my Psalm 1 class, so I actually got to celebrate my 40th birthday in the vault with a whiskey that was gifted to me from a fellow magnificent bastard, Kat Rajne, one of my really dear friends. She had gifted me, and you can't see it; it's out of the screen. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about the cigar blend. I saw the advertisement for it. Yeah, I like Still Austin. I haven't had a lot of their stuff in the last couple of years, partly just life. Um, but I've always found their stuff to be really good. In fact, I do have a bottle of Still Austin around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. So I actually still have a bottle of Still Austin. Their 2 year straight bourbon. This was one of the first straight bourbons. This the musician. I think this is like one of the first edition bottles. So it is open. I have drank out of it, uh, but yeah, it's really good. Yeah, and I love Still Austin. I love their tours are always fun. Their knowledge is great. Obviously, the people that were there, plus the little hangout place out front is always cool. I mean, I never say no to free whiskey. I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, we may have to do some talking as far as that goes. Maybe we could do some swapping or something here, uh, or you could send them in and I can review them too. That's always fun, and of course you get the credit for the review as the donor, as it were. If you want to do that, we can we can talk offline and exchange some information and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd be happy to do that. That'd be great. Um, oh, is she their master blender? I knew she was working for one of the big companies down there. I couldn't remember who. Um, but yeah, Nancy Fraley, another one of those who's just a genius with whiskey. And again, just an truly amazing person. Yeah. So like her and Irene and Emma are a big part of why so what I haven't advertised a lot is that about a year ago, I came out with this concept called the Noble Trash Panda. Obviously, Whiskey 411, classy trash pandas, that's kind of our thing. Well, I came up with this program for excuse me, for the Noble Trash Panda. And part of that is raising money to donate basically to the school, to Wizard Academy, to specifically donate seats. I mean, obviously to support the school, but also to donate a seat in the class in any whiskey marketing class for getting more women into whiskey. So, like, basically, hey, if the school has someone that it's like a scholarship almost is like, hey, you guys know of a promising woman who we want who deserves to go to this class and would like to go for free, basically, is like we just boom. So, and it's still some of got it dealing with some legalities, working some details out, but the general concept is all there. Regardless, one of the goals with this is so my goal is to reach 2,000 paid subscribers total. Like I said, $5 a month with exclusive content, things like that. I figure $5 is a pretty reasonable cost. I mean, with all the streaming, it adds up. I get that, but I figure if I do that and we can get up to 2,000 subscribers, then the one of the first things I'm going to do is put aside money, and once we reach the goal, is Whiskey 411. Oh, dude, well, you can go there with a trash palate, my man. Like, even if your palate is garbage, that's why you go there. I mean, it's to help develop your palate, to learn skills for developing your palate. And some of them are common sense, and some of them you sit there and go, "Oh." Plus, you get to listen to Daniel for a couple of days, and that's always hilarious. And Dave Young will teach classes, and Jason Souter. Um, and then, of course, they always have extra hosts and instructors too. Really amazing stuff. um, it's definitely worth going. Like if you do a lot with whiskey, even drinking a lot of whiskey or whatnot, and you do want to develop that palate, it honestly is really cool to go to. Um, Plus, you get your a nice holy crap medallion. You know what? I was a cigarette smoker for over 20 years. I've mostly quit. I 99% quit at this point because of injuries and surgeries. But even then, I was still able to develop my palate. And actually, what I found, believe it or not, was when I stopped smoking, I actually had to learn new notes for some of the whiskeys that I was familiar with, because I was finding the notes in different ways, or finding different notes in those whiskeys. So it was really interesting. Cigars, I wouldn't think would be such a big deal because so many Psalms smoke cigars anyway. Like, yeah, like if you've ever been like, obviously you haven't been through the class, but usually after any of the Psalm classes, especially level 1, level 2, what have you, it's really not uncommon at all for there to be 4, 5, 10 people just sitting out on the either on the star deck or down on the patio outside the kitchen, smoking cigars and just talking, sipping on whiskey and smoking cigars. Men, women, everyone just hanging out. It's great. If you want to, if you were really wanting to go, honestly, just going for the experience is worth it. Plus, you're 40 minutes from the vault, and you can go try whatever the fuck you want. Just saying. Give me one sec. I forgot I had it hidden from myself. Yeah. The old level 3 Flava Flav. Dude, it's good. I mean, it, there we go. Look, I'm Daniel. Although, taller and less good looking and less interesting, but otherwise the same guy. I had a joke when we were at level 3 as a sommelier, especially as a level 3 whiskey sommelier, the proper attire is the black V-neck and pants. I don't know if you know that. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah. So that's my level 3 Flava Flav. They switched to the cords a couple of years ago. I really wish I could get a hold of one of the OG chains. Stupid heavy, kind of uncomfortable, but looks cool as shit on display. So yeah, I'm not. I don't wear this when I do my videos too much, partly because it's a little ostentatious. I mean, it's cool, but so much. Yeah. There. As I show you my butt, I apologize. Awesome. There we go. And it's not even in the shot. That figures. Okay, awesome. Went through all that effort to put that there, and it's not even in the shot. Let's see. There, now it's in the shot. That's better, right? Excuse me while I adjust my camera. Oh, I made it mad. My camera has an auto follow feature, so if I adjust it just wrong, it tries to follow me again. It's hilarious. There we go. So yeah, actually, the cool thing is, so that little bandana behind me, I actually got that at the 15th anniversary party at Balcones last year. That was really cool. That was a really great hang. Dan Garrison was there. Um, was it Robert? No, John. I think it was Jonathan Licorice was there. One of the Licorice brothers. I can't remember exactly which one of them was there. Oh yeah. Actually, those the ones directly behind me. Those ones are anywhere from chapter 4 to chapter 11, I think. I've got kind of a mix. Actually, there's a couple really cool ones in there. There is a chapter 8, that one, the Senso barrel, um, that or the Senso blend. That one was magical. I haven't unopened one of those. You can't see my very top shelf; it's up here. But I actually have Errant barrel up there. I've got an original chapter 3 up there. Uh, I've got an original single mom up there. Actually, I have a single mom. I think it was third edition. It was the last full release that they did in 375s that Emma did while she was still working at Crowded Barrel before she moved to Balcones. So yeah, I have a shelf of Crowded Barrel bottles. I do have a really cool bottle. I'll grab it real quick. It's not incredibly special. Um, it's actually Whiskey Festival blend number 4, but if you notice the labels might be a little off. And the reason it's funny is I went down there when I think it was after level 1. It was either level it was either after level 1 or level 2. Um, and sorry, I had family aggro there for a second. But yeah, so we were helping label batch 4, yeah. Batch 4 from the Whiskey Festival. Is that the one you mean? So that's what this one was, and I actually helped do the labeling. And this was actually labeled by myself and 2 other whiskey psalms. Put the labels on here, and so this is the Eleanor. Okay, yeah, I've got. You mean chapter 4 or batch 4? Because they did kind of 2 different things with that. Is they did the original chapters, and then they switched to kind of batches with the new releases of the chapters. So it got a little confusing there. So which do you know which one you mean? I'm just trying to make sure because I lost track of all the Eleanors. Although for a sourced and finished whiskey, Eleanor is great. But yeah, so this is a one of one bottle. You know, you won't find another bottle like this anywhere. This is the only one. So I thought that was really cool. And then the other cool one I have, and this is one of 2 of these. As far as I know, there are only 2 of these that exist. Um, not the whiskey itself, but this specific bottle in the way that it is. So this is the very original Ironroot Republic Alliance series release. Um, let's see here. Released in 2019, April of 2019 is when I picked it up. Now the reason this one is special is this is one of 2 bottles. I was the only, as far as I know, I'm the only one, or at least one of the only people. Oh yeah, batch 4 Weeded Eleanor. Yeah, that's a great one. That one right there. Yep, I got that one. That's great. Yep. Yeah, that one's really good. That one I have is opened actually. But yeah, so this one is really cool, is because I'm friends with the licorices at Ironroot too. And I was able to take this and one other bottle that I had, and they're actually signed by Robert, Jonathan, and their mom Marcia was signed at the distillery. I actually have a picture that goes with it from when we got these signed. But as far as I know, this is one of 2 in the world. So that's really cool. Doesn't really make it more valuable, just, adds a little something to me, a little nostalgia and a little something extra that, you just don't find outside of the whiskey world. Let's see here. I'll pull this one down. So this is the one I was actually talking about earlier. So this is an OG bottle. This is a first edition Eleanor. This is chapter one. Excuse me. So this is the very first release, very first bottling. Bottle 192 actually. So this is the 192nd bottle that they ever actually bottled, assuming they bottled in barrel order. Um, and this one's really cool because one, it's when Emma was helping run the tasting room. So it's actually got Emma's signature on it, and it's dated from my very first visit, September 28th of 2018, and it's actually signed by Rex, Daniel, Emma, and Deb. You know, Deb Niemeyer, the original distiller on site for Crowded Barrel before she moved on to other things as well. But yeah, so that's another cool conversation piece that I have that I like to keep. It's still unopened, still all original. The original bottles that they did before they got discontinued, couldn't get them. You can see the little multi dimples in them or whatnot. So yeah, that's another really cool piece of my collection that I love. I've talked about taking it down. Thanks. Yeah, I've actually talked about saving that till like the 10th or 15th anniversary of Crowded Barrel, and then taking it down there and cracking it open with uh, Daniel and Rex and Emma and them, and actually just cracking it open and just having a pour of the very first whiskey they ever released, just together. I don't know if that'll happen, but it's fun to think about, fun to consider. So. Hmm. You know, and you're the only person on here right now, which is really weird. I was expecting a few more people, but that's okay because what I am going to do is before we get off of here, regardless of whether you want to send in some samples for me to taste test or not. Oh, I told my camera to move by accident. Anywho, all right. I guess that's where that goes now. Um, but yeah, so let me get your information from you, like DM me or what have you, and we will swap information because as a thank you for being a part of this, since you're the one who decided to show up, I'm going to actually go ahead and send you a whiskey 411 coin as a thank you. I said I was going to do giveaways, and guess what? You rolled the top roll out of anyone here. Like out of everyone that was here, you won. So congratulations. You're going to get your very own first edition whiskey 411 coin as a gift from me as a thank you for being here. So be sure to link up with me, get me your info so I can make sure and get that to you. Mm. All right. So yeah, but yeah, so yeah, like I said, done some cool things, had some cool things going on. Hey, thank you for being here. Um, and for conversating. That's always nice. It's always nice when I've been in a lot of live streams where you either have a shit ton of people talking or no one talking, or there's just no one here, and there's no one here, but that's okay. Kind of makes it a more private conversation, which I'm perfectly cool with. We can just sit here and sip on whiskey and talk about whatever. Um, I wish I'd stop messing with my camera because I made it mad, but that's okay. Oops, you can see my backdrop. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, yeah. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to drink next. I'm probably going to move on to another special one. I have a Balcones here that I really like. It's kind of special to me. It's got a little bit of a backstory. That's the cool thing about. So you can see that I've got a selection of a lot of the special or regular releases. Uh, you can email me at thebaron@whiskey411.com. That's actually my business email for the Whiskey 411 channel. Uh, just shoot me an email. Like I said, the Baron, all one word, at whiskey411.com. Just shoot me your name, address, and I will get that out to you. I will get it in the mail. as a thank you for being here. That's what that hey, there's nothing wrong with winning by default. Right place, right time. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, I've got a selection of basic whiskeys, of everyday whiskeys, and then I've got some of the I've got a shit ton of Crowded Barrel releases. I've got a whole thing of I've got a whole another cabinet over there with Crowded Barrel and Iron Root. And you can see I got a couple Iron Roots behind me over here, and another Eleanor. And then up here, I'm used to my camera being reversed when I record. Um, Up here, I've got that's a 10-year anniversary Hechiceros. And that is I think it's 2019 French oak. Let's see. 2019 French oak, Falconis. And then that's their peated. I think that's the first edition. The 2019, yep, batch one from 2019. That one's pretty magical. It's also hot as shit. 65.2% alcohol in that one. It's a monster. It's great though. It's not heavily peated, but it's good. It's good. Mm. Speaking of, let me go ahead and sorry, my son texted me, so bear with me. Welcome. Who do we have joining us now? But yeah, I promise you guys, I'm not ignoring you. My son literally just texted me, so I figure I better get back to him real quick. Um, um, so who's joined us? I apologize. My thing is make a comment in chat. Don't be a lurker. That and my chat program here is just really terrible about telling me who all's online at any given time. Like I said, I didn't have I was running into issues with my actual streaming software. I usually use Streamlabs, but I couldn't get it to connect properly today. So right now I'm just using the regular YouTube Studio webcam feed. It's okay. It just loses a couple of features that you kind of take for granted. Does that make sense? Thank you, sir. I will check that actually right now. So for you who have joined us, you just missed the first giveaway. I just gave away an original first edition Whiskey 411 challenge coin. There will be more giveaways. I plan on doing this, being on here for probably another hour or two. If I get a lot more people, the more people want to hang around, the longer I will stay on. But I plan on doing a giveaway every hour or so. So if you guys, one or both of you are on, then I will be doing more giveaways. Let's see here. Sorry, checking my email since you just sent me an email. So give me one moment here. Boop, boop. Oops, wrong button. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay. It hasn't come in yet, but sometimes it takes a couple minutes. It'll be fine. Um, if I if I don't get it from you, or you don't hear back from me within a day or so, just send me another email. Once again, the Baron at whiskey411.com. You can also find a link to it on the Whiskey 411 web page if you need to. Um, I don't know, for some reason my email has not shown that I've received it yet, but Google is weird, which is weird since YouTube is owned by Google. Whatever. Moving on. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what else is. Where we at? Ah, Mark, good to meet you. So I'm Dustin. I go by the Baron on the channel, but that's just actually on my own fun little reference to the fact that I've been a Whiskey Tribe Baron since 2018. Um, and I kind of just brought it over as a little homage to what kind of brought me here in some way, shape, or form. So I am the Baron von Trash Panda, as we are the Whiskey 411 Classy Trash Pandas. Um, Little fun fact, if you look, it's not technically a raccoon, but I have a little tanuki right there on the shelf. So like a Japanese raccoon. Not really a raccoon, more of a dog, but looks similar. It works. Plus, it just works really good with the whiskey. And yeah, so yeah, thank you for you who is just joining me. Like I said, I apologize. I can't see the names of everyone in the live chat for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on with that. But if you post your name or say something, then I'll be happy to give you a shout out here. And so just feel free to say hi in the chat if you got any questions, comments, concerns, bitches, gripes, or moans. By all means, put them in the chat. Like I said, I'll be doing this for probably at least another hour or so. If the more people we get online, the longer I plan on doing this. Um, Partly to get information out there, partly just to hang out, and partly to just grow and build the channel and work on building community. I was unable to finish the video that I wanted to get edited today, so this is how we make up for that. This is content. This is, saying, "Hey, welcome to Whiskey 411." So in the glass? I've got Glenfiddich 12. Here in a minute, once I finish up with this, I'm probably going to be moving on to Balcones, a Texas single malt. But this is the 2019 rum cask finish. Really cool, really special release, as you see, clocking in at about 63.5%. So that bottle's got a really cool story behind it. I picked that up so when my brother and we made the trip originally to Crowder Barrel in September of 2018. And actually, after that, I was actually in the videos, the like if you go back way back in Tribe videos, you can see I was actually in the intro for about 4 to 6 months. There's a little screenshot of me in the video of the intros for about 4 or 6 months from 2018 to early 2019. But anyway, so we went back down in April, and as we were going back in April, we had already done the tour at Balcones when we were there in September. But we swung by and they had this special release. And so it was one of those things. I picked it up, I bought it while I was there. I held on to it for a long time. And my brother and my sister-in-law literally just bought a new house about 2 months ago now. And as they had the same house, condo, what have you, for the last 18 years, and they decided to upgrade, buy a new one. Really cool. I look forward to doing some filming there, some video there. But yeah, so while I was there, we actually cracked this open for the very first time to celebrate them purchasing that new house. It was really fun, really cool. So I love whiskey. I love whiskey, and I love stories with whiskey. I think that's the best part of the whiskey community and whiskey in general is it's not about the drinking. Anyone who's truly into whiskey, it's not about getting buzzed. It's not about getting shit faced. It's about sitting around telling stories. Like the stories we were talking about with Irene Tan and the Bastard's Ball and things like that. And that's what being a sommelier is too. It's about marketing. It's about sales, but it's more about connecting and communicating and sharing stories, sharing good times, and that's what I love about it, and that's what I really am striving to continue and expand on in my little corner of the whiskey world. Hoping to expand my corner a little bit, bring more and more people into it. That's the ultimate goal. And in the meantime, drink on good whiskey with good people. No email. Check. I want to make sure it didn't get spammed or something. Just because weird things happen. Nope, nope, not in the spam. Weird. Well, if I haven't seen it in the next half hour or so, I'll try to message you. Let me see. Can't put a user in timeout. That's awesome. I don't do a lot of live streams, so it's just one of those weird things. Let me see here. Oh, but yeah, if nothing else, like I said, just shoot me another email or whatever. We'll get it figured out. But I will definitely get that prepped and ready to mail to you very, very soon. I got actually envelopes right over there, so run by the post office and get it to you, so you will have your very own whiskey 411 challenge coin. And this is cool. Like I said, this is the original first edition. It was actually helped as the whole concept of the trash panda is funny, because obviously I wanted to have a mascot of sorts, right? Because you just little something a little catchy, something a little fun. And I was just like, okay, so when in the whiskey tribe, you've got the eagle to represent the mooches, you've got the bear to represent the psalms. Said, but they missed an opportunity. And so I'm sitting there up at we were actually celebrating our birthdays. This was early June. Was it 2021? Maybe 2020 or 2021, right in there. Anyway, I was up at West Bottoms Whiskey, hanging out with Steve Card. Really great dude, amazing dude, great friend, totally magnificent bastard all the way. So we're sitting there hanging out and BSing and whatnot, and I was talking, and I was like, I'm just trying to think of a concept, whatever. And I can't remember how we got there, but between the two of us, we came up with the Trash Panda. Yes, exactly that. And I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that the Trash Panda really works. And it made me realize that Rex missed a great opportunity, because an eagle takes what it wants, sure. And an eagle is proud and noble, but a trash panda, that's nature's mooch, motherfucker. Like straight up. Um, so yeah, and actually I have a bottle of West Bottoms around here somewhere. I don't know where the hell I put it. But yeah, West Bottoms is actually really excellent too. They're doing some really cool stuff. They actually just expanded over the last year or so. They put in, I want to say they put in a 150-gallon still, so a still roughly the size of what Crowded Barrel's using. The impressive thing is that up until that point, for like the last 4 or 5 years, they were actually operating off of I want to say it was a 40-gallon still named Hephaestus, and they still have it and they still use it. But yeah, they were using like anywhere from like 5-gallon up to like, I think the biggest barrels they had were maybe 20 gallons, and they just had shitloads of them. Um, but really good. And they do a similar concept to what Jay Rieger does. So Jay Rieger, if you're familiar with them, um, oh, I got a Jay Rieger around here somewhere. Anywho, oh yeah, there it is. This is one of their special releases. This is actually a straight bourbon, finished in Oloroso casks. But so what Jay Rieger and West Bottoms do is they do this thing called Kansas City style whiskey. It's a throwback to basically pre-prohibition, or I would say more accurately, probably a throwback to pre-bottled in bond act, which is where they take a typically they'll take like a straight bourbon or whatnot, but it depends on what they're doing that year, what release they're doing. But they actually add up to 2% sherry, so they actually make it a sherry finished whiskey, like almost a flavor whiskey. It's still special distilled spirit specialty technically, but um, because you can do certain additives or whatever within certain means, instead of just finishing an Oloroso, they actually pour and add a small amount of Oloroso sherry to the whiskey, and thus creating what they call the Kansas City style whiskey. Kind of interesting, very very neat marketing gimmick. The whiskey itself actually turns out really good. I mean, if you like sherry bombs, especially. Um, but yeah, so that bottle I just showed you, that monogram, That's done off of a Solera finish style, using Oloroso casks that are up to 100 years old. So yeah, really cool. And that one has no age statement, but the whiskeys in it are anywhere between, I believe, up to 7 or 8 years old in that one. I think there may be a whiskey up to 11 years, but I think they said it was about 7 years. Between 3 and 7 years was the average age of whiskey in that, for that release. It's really good. Yeah, the Rieger monogram is a little harder to get. It's sort of like Balcones does. The monogram, I believe, is a distillery only release. I could be mistaken, and that may have changed since I bought that bottle. They actually were really cool though. If you get a chance, if you're in Kansas City, they have this really beautiful. It's an old brick building. It's actually got 2 stories. I did some filming there. I don't know if I ever posted all of those videos. I think I did a couple live streams from there, but they were really cool, really inviting. They let me shoot video there. They let me record while I was there. They let me walk around talking to myself on my camera while I was there. They let me take pictures, whatever. And then if you go upstairs, you can actually their second floor is like a mezzanine, and you can actually see into the distillery room, so you can actually see the stills and all that. So that's really cool. I haven't taken the tour there, oddly enough. I need to. But I have walked around and seen everything. It's really cool, and they're really friendly. But yeah, so they also, I believe, they have a bottled in bond now. So they've got their standard J. Rieger, which you can find most anywhere. I believe I've seen it down in Texas even. You should be able to find the original J. Rieger down in Texas. Um, but they also, their rye is really solid. And then I believe they have a straight bourbon. And then they have the monogram, which is their annual special release, which is also a straight bourbon finished in Oloroso instead of added to. So it's still straight bourbon finished in Oloroso casks. Really good, and not overly expensive for a limited release. I think it was $140 at the time, 150. And let's see here. Okay, yeah. So here we go. This is the 2022 version. I should have just read you the label. Um, so this one is minimum of 5 years, and the Solara cask adds an extra almost 4 years. So obviously they add to the Solera cask, and this one at this year was about 4 years. So this year they should be up to about 6. So a total of about 11 years now. So yeah, about 9 years at the time. Pretty cool. Um, Really great whiskey if you can get a hold of it. Yeah, like I said, I want to say it was 140, $150, and I know they don't do a lot of them. Yeah, 1,887 bottles total. So yeah, they and as you can see, this one's been pretty popular. I actually took this down to level 2 or level 3 or both, and we sipped on it for a little bit. Um, Surprisingly good. And one of those you get and you drink and you just know you'll never get it again, which sucks. But it's so good that you don't feel bad about drinking it. So that's been that. So what about you? How's things going in your whiskey world? I know, besides the bar, what you got going on? Anything fun, new, exciting, good whiskeys you've been trying? What was the good stuff that came down to at the Bastards Ball? Let me get my vicarious thrills on the whiskey that I missed out on. Wow, the Scotch Rabbit Hole. I love the Scotch Rabbit Hole. I love, love, love the Scotch Rabbit Hole. Currently, I cannot afford the Scotch Rabbit Hole, not to expand on more than I already have. Um, but that is one thing that is the next step as we build the subscriber base and everything. Is the plan is to take the income from the channel, and not only finally pay myself to do some of this, because I've actually, believe it or not, I've never actually taken a penny. I've never paid myself a penny for this. All the whiskeys that I use and buy, I've bought separate from the channel for the channel, kind of a funding thing. um, but yeah, so what the plan is to raise is, as we get more subscribers, is we're actually going to go buy new whiskeys basically every week or every couple weeks. We're gonna buy a couple, and we're gonna try new or hard to find whiskeys or whatever, but things you can find at the store, but just things I don't have, things that I haven't tried, and definitely I want to add more scotches to the collection. Um, yeah, I get that the ball. Yeah, I do love the Bastards Ball. I love the social aspect. It's not as crazy as it once was. We'll say. I guess. I mean, you've been there a couple times. It's kind of chilled a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. But it's just it. Sometimes I guess it's hard to level up from some of the craziness they've done, and they've done so much crazy cool stuff over the years that it's kind of hard to top. But I'd say for a little 1 day whiskey festival, it's probably one of the coolest things that you could do in the whiskey world. Still, with what typically they had. How many? Do you remember how many distillers they had this year? I know last year they had about 15. I want to say. I should know that better. I helped set up yesterday. I was actually on the staff last year to help run it and everything. Um, or was that 2 years? I lose track. Last year. Yeah. We've done. I've been down there and helped so much, especially since becoming a whiskey sommelier, that it's just kind of all ran together. Oh, only 7 or 8. Wow, that's a huge difference. That's wow. Um, okay, so I'm assuming the standard kind of fare: Iron Root, Balcones, Teeling, um, Andalusia, and Ranger Creek. I'm assuming those 5 were probably all there. I hope the Texas heavy hitters, as it were. But I say this and I talk about that it's gotten smaller and it's not but it's also kind of evolved, and this year's been kind of a really rough year for a lot of people and around the whiskey market in general. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. I figured they would be there. I would have been way more surprised if they weren't. But yeah, so it's been an interesting time. Is the whiskey uh, market is actually in kind of a shrink phase right now. I don't know if that's because other alcohols are kind of expanding. I know light whiskeys have taken a bit of a bump in the last couple of years, kind of like they did in the '80s. Partly because they're typically cheaper and um, less aggressive, easier to drink for the average consumer. Sort of like flavor whiskey took off 3-4 years ago and just blew up, and then now it's all kind of condensed back down a little bit. So yeah, I think we're in kind of a contracting phase. God damn it! I really got to disable that on my camera. Okay, my camera's just dead set on doing whatever the hell it wants. Over here, I made my camera mad. So I have this really cool webcam. It's actually got it's a point tilt zoom. Right? Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, it makes me laugh too. So it's a really great camera. It's actually from 360. Same company that makes um well, this is DJI, this is the Pocket 3, but they make a similar camera, and they make the 360 cam, with the double fisheye or whatever. But yeah, so this is their point tilt zoom webcam. It's really great. It shoots in 4K, or records in 4K. It can even transmit in 4K if you've got the bandwidth for it. And it's got cool features like it'll point tilt zoom, but it also senses your hand movements. So if you put your hand in the wrong place, it shifts. And usually I have it running through software so that I have that disabled or controlled. But since it's running through the YouTube, um, yeah, it's just kind of doing whatever the fuck it wants, apparently. So yeah, now it's on auto follow. Wee, wee. You can see my mic over here for when I'm doing those podcasts. I do plan on getting into doing some podcasts, like 20-minute episodes or so. Nothing too crazy, nothing really long. Um, but I want to get some content and some ideas first and kind of flesh that out before I start doing that, just because that's a lot of work. And I found that podcasts, they're fun, they're enjoyable, but you don't do those for a lot of views. Like, as crazy as it is, the most views, like this video will probably get 30 views. I bet you. Like, I'll be surprised if this live stream, n- just the total views after the fact, I'll be surprised if it gets 50 views at all. Like, they just don't get a lot of views. And so podcasts are very similar. Is they're kind of a very niche market. Yeah. Well, so the 360 cam, I don't even have the box over here, so I can't tell you exactly the name of it. But it's their webcam. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's really great. It's a really good, affordable cam. It's really good if you want point tilt zoom, which this has. It also has a background mode for like reading whiteboards, and it has another mode where it will actually aim itself down to. Oops. Well, it has another mode where it will actually aim itself downward to look at like the table. So, like if you're doing a demonstration video, so you can kind of set it up with an overhead view. Right now, I've got the little tripod in the way because I've got it mounted on a tripod, so it forces me to look into the camera when I'm doing these videos or doing a live stream. But I can't tell you the price. I want to say it was around 150 bucks. It may have been more than that, so a bit pricey for a webcam, but a lot of good features, a lot of good options, especially if you're looking at getting into something. Otherwise, what I other oh, okay, yeah, it's possible. It's kind of the prosumer level camera. Other than that, I have a little Amazon special that I have for my laptop. Yeah. It's a 4K. Nothing fancy, no bells and whistles, no automatic point tilt zoom or whatever. But I think it was like 30 bucks on Amazon, and it's Depth Tech is what it's called. Uh, and for a webcam or a regular webcam, not bad. I ain't mad at it for 30 bucks, I think it was, or 40 bucks. It was very affordable and 4K capability. Um, so I have that for like travel and stuff. And I had that before I got this one. I said this one I got just because it does allow me to move around and do a little bit more. Um, I also just have to make sure that I'm not moving too much and confusing it. Wee, wee, wee. So, okay. But you can see it's earlier I did have it turned off, the auto tracking turned off. You can actually disable it, which is nice. So you can just have a set clean shot. But I guess for a live stream, it's kind of nice, you know. So if I was to get up or whatever, it could just follow my butt or whatever if I turn to grab something off the shelf, so everyone can look at my pasty white butt. Well, I mean, I wear pants mostly, allegedly. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna hold on to the Balcones for now. I'm gonna crack that open in a bit. I'm feeling like a cocktail. I'm feeling like a whiskey and Coke. And right now I'm trying to decide what whiskey I want with my Coke. Um, Kind of leaning toward. Oh yeah, I'm gonna upset people. Oh, there we go. Overlord 12. Talk about scotches. One of my favorite scotches for the money. Overlord 12. I think it's gone up a little bit since I bought this bottle last. But yeah, so the Aberlour 12. It's a yeah, yeah. The Blanton's is on the top shelf actually. Not because it's spectacular, but because it fits there. I keep a bottle of it. It's okay. I overpaid for it. I paid a little bit more than what it's worth. As far as I think I paid like $100 for my bottle, but it was also all but impossible to find here at the time. And I'd never tried it, so I figured $100 to try it. I'll overpay for it this once and see how it is. And yeah, it's good. It don't get me wrong. It's really good, but It doesn't live up to the hype, but nothing does. I mean, you can see the Weller back here on the shelf, and I got those at MSRP um, back before they got stupid. That big bottle, that's the Big Daddy bottle of Weller. Or no, that's a fifth bottle. But yeah, that's a 1 liter, I think. Yeah, that's my 1 liter bottle of Weller Special Reserve. You know, the base Weller, and it was like $23. Like they had shelves of it at the time. Like it was insane. And the next thing I knew, they were asking like 50, $60 for. I was like, yeah, get fucked. It's really good, but it's not that really good. The Weller 107 is good to me. It's a hot weeder. It's like a hot maker's mark. EHT small batch, nice. Yeah, talking about the Blantons. Yeah, yeah. EH Taylor is good too. I mean, obviously those and Wellers and all, they're all kind of in the same vein. As they're really good whiskeys. There's nothing wrong with the whiskeys. Oh, they're even really good commercial whiskeys, but they're not like, to me, they're not holy shit, I need to have this, and that's why I don't have a lot of those. I mean, you can see I've got this Calumet 14 right here. I still haven't opened it. um, if you look carefully, you can see there's a bottle of Stag Junior in the back, which is really good. I love it, and actually I got that one back before the blow up too. I think I paid $50 for that. um, and now I think they're running like 90 for those, for that same thing. Obviously they do, the single barrel releases or whatever, but yeah, craziness. Um, yeah. Let's see here. And then I got a Ranger Creek right there. That's unfortunately, I was going to do a review on that. I was actually going to review the Ranger Creek. My everyone. I was going to do a review on the Ranger Creek, and I've had Ranger Creek before, and Ranger Creek is amazing. Like it's really good whiskey. Or no, sorry, it's not it's the Treaty Oak. The Treaty Oak is what I'm thinking of. So the Treaty Oak right here. I was going to do a review on that, and I've been there. I ate at Alice's restaurant. I've had the whiskey, great, never had a problem, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Stag should go for about 50. I could even see $60 just because it is a cask strength whiskey. It's typically running at about 60%. I could see a $65 price tag on it or whatever. I could see paying craft price for it. Um, but yeah, I think I paid like $50 for it, give or take a couple of bucks. Way back when. But that's true of a lot of these whiskeys that I have, the kind of the rare whiskeys, we'll call them, the sought after whiskeys. As you can see, I cracked them all open because I bought them to drink, but also they were affordable. Then again, when I first started buying Ardbeg 10 and Ardbeg Anoa, they were $45 a bottle too. Um, I actually have a really cool bottle that Cat got for me once. Cat Rajne again. I think it's yeah. You can't see, but I've got my Ardbegs right over here. Um, but I've got an Anoa. Actually, I've got a couple Anoas, but I have one Anoa that I had specially engraved. So the truck came through. The Ardbeg truck came through near Dallas, Fort Worth, or whatever, and she got to it. And so I have a personalized bottle that says the Prime Minister of Pete on it. So that was really cool. The camera's following me. Big brother is watching me. Okay. But yeah, so I agree that is going wild. Okay. I don't know how to turn that off right now. I really want to. Uh, yeah, it was, and she hooked me up. I mean, I think I ended up paying her for that bottle, but it was basically the same cost of an Ardbeg, on Oa. So at the time, it was like, yeah, if I think I paid her back for it. If not, it was a gift, whatever. But I think it was like $50 maybe at the time, 50, 60. Plus, I got a cool Ardbeg shirt, and an Ardbeg, lapel pin. So all little package deal. It was really cool. But yeah, I love Ardbeg. Big Ardbeg fan. Big Ardbeg cultist. They just released so damn many of them, I couldn't keep up. That was my big problem. I do have an unopened Ardbeg up there. Um, and I have a Dark Cove committee release up there and a regular Dark Cove. I've got a couple compost boxes. I've got No Name Chapter 1, or the No Name 1. I've got actually two of those. I've got a Flaming Heart and a Peat Monster also. So yeah, I've got a small selection of Scotch. I sort of curated as I've gone, like because Scotch up here is really hard to find in the Kansas City area, or if you can find it, they're proud of it. So, which, like I said, is kind of annoying. Mm, mm. I love that sherry finish on that, which is why, as weird as it is, if you ever want to try this, if you haven't, Aberlour 12 and a little bit of Coke. Don't go crazy on the Coke. Roughly 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Yeah, it gets the sherry note in there, and you get an almost Dr Pepper like flavor out of it. But it's like Dr Pepper, but not. It's almost like it's sherry Coke, not sherry Coke, sherry Coke. Not bad. Makes for a good cocktail. Try it. That's one of my secrets. One of my claims to fame and secrets is people are like, "Well, you drink whiskey neat." I'm like, "Yeah, I drink whiskey neat. I mean, I've drank everything on these shelves neat. I go to distilleries and drink it neat." But when you're sitting at home or just recording or hanging out or socializing, I find that just a good classic, highball, whiskey and Coke, whiskey and whatever, just a simple cocktail. Let's see if that works. You nailed it. You look that up. That's awesome. But say, the downside is I know I'm going to screw around and hold my hand up again and turn it back on because I'm an idiot like that. I'm kind of a luddite some days. Just weird because I grew up with the technology. Like I was a teenager when a lot of this tech started coming around, or I was at least in my 20s. So I was still young when a lot of this tech started coming out, and yet I'm still going. I don't know. My kid's looking at me going, "The fuck's your problem?" And I'm like, "Dude." Mm, do me a favor, because I still haven't seen it. Go ahead and reshoot me that email to the Baron at whiskey411.com. There you go. So I can get the autofocus to work. Wanted to. There you go. The Baron at whiskey411.com. Um, that way I make sure I get that to you. Like I said, for some reason I haven't received it yet, and I want to make sure that I have your contact. That, or if you want to just I think there's a way you should be able to send me a message, like almost like a DM, um, or just look me up on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I am Whiskey411 at Facebook on Facebook, and I am the Sorcerer, which is the Whiskey Sorcerer on Facebook also. So basically, any of those you can reach out and DM me, and that works too. Um, but I want to make sure that you get your giveaway. You were here for that, and you earned it. Damn it! Uh, take pride in that. Take pride in the follow through. I sometimes fuck up on the follow through, but I try. Um, I forgot what the fuck we were even talking about. Oh yeah, we were talking about like E.H. Taylor and Stag and all those. But yeah, so like I said, you got those, and they're good. They're if you don't travel in the whiskey world a lot, you'd even say they're excellent. I mean, I'm being honest. Like I really do think that they're quite good. Um, for what we'll say, prosumer level whiskeys, like they're high end consumer level whiskeys. I don't. Yeah, and that's where craft doesn't really have a distinction, but that's where I get into the craft tends to be have that little more nuance, and a little more attention to detail. So not that even craft whiskey is necessarily better than say Weller or EH Taylor or any of those. I just find that um, the, the at least on craft whiskey, I guess I get the hype a little bit more, and I'm more apt to support the hype on a craft whiskey, on a smaller distiller, on a smaller brand or whatever, who's doing something amazing, versus a big brand that has just rick houses and rick houses full of whiskey. Like if you have 10,000 barrels to choose from, you better be able to come up with a really fucking good whiskey, right? It's that simple. If you have if you have 10,000 barrels floating around in a rick house, and let's be honest, some of the big brands have way more than that, um, and you can't come up with a really amazing whiskey, you're fucking doing something wrong. That's it. Like there's no and, there's no but, there's no anything else. That's just God's honest truth. And so yeah, when you get these craft distillers who are doing amazing things, and yeah, they're charging maybe 150 $200 a bottle, for up to $200 a bottle, or even more if you're talking about something like oh, that like Garrison Brothers, like their cowboy bourbon. Yeah, I think that's like 250, almost $300 a bottle, as their annual release or whatever. That's a fuck you Texas whiskey, by the way. Good stuff. And I've actually gotten a chance to talk to Dan Garrison. Great guy, real fun to talk to, really knowledgeable. um but yeah, so you get into that and you realize that he's taken, he's working on a production of maybe having 1,000 barrels total, at this point. Like back when he first started releasing it, he probably had like 300 400 barrels on a good day or whatever, and being able to take that and find something really great with the profile you're going for, and to release that, to me that makes way more sense. As a consumer, like that's something I want to encourage, is that creativity, that less with that, more with less kind of vibe. And so I guess it's just more impressive when I see a smaller brand do that. Like Balcones, or like I said when I was talking about West Bottoms, they were doing like these little 5 to 20 gallon barrels, like that's all they were using, and using a buttload of them, but we're still releasing a really good whiskey. I mean, it wasn't like a top shelf whiskey, but still really good. Um, or you look at like Jay Rieger, who has a smaller production. They do quite a bit, and they release quite a bit, and their whiskey is really great. And I would even say that Jay Rieger is on the borderline of maybe craft. Like they're still craft, but they're in the bigger consumer market just with their reach. But or like Iron Root's a good example. I love Iron Root. Like I said, I'm friends with the Licorices. They're good people, awesome people. I always sing their praises. They actually donated bottles that I'm going to be doing for a raffle for a fundraiser that I'm doing, that I was talking about earlier. Um, when I show up without my brother, I get yelled at by Marsha asking where my brother is. Yeah, like that's the kind of relationship we have, and it's great, and I love it. But yeah, so I think they've just this year this is their 10th year in business, and I missed their 10th year anniversary party. I think I'm pretty sure I missed it. Um, I made it for the ninth year, and I was there for the fifth. Um, but the 10th year. Oh, hey, welcome to you folks just joining us. Just kind of talking about craft whiskeys right now, getting into things. I'll be doing a giveaway here shortly. We got Jay's Whiskey Den. I believe you were. I think yeah. So welcome. What's in your glass tonight, there? I'll just call you Joe. Is that cool? I assume you're the aforementioned Joe. Uh, right on, right on. What's in your glass? So right now I've got a little cocktail. I made an Aberlour 12 and Coke. So I was drinking on some Glenfiddich 12 earlier, but right now I'm just sipping on a little cocktail in between. I've got a little bit. I've got a Balcones that I'm going to get crack into here in a little bit, probably. But yeah, welcome. Definitely, if you got questions, comments, or whatever, definitely feel free to post. I'm trying to keep it active. And oh, nice, nice. I've tried one of those. I don't know, probably a different one than what you've got, but I've tried one of those. They were excellent. I've never had an SMWS that I didn't like. Like they're all amazing. Getting them to me in Kansas is a pain in the ass, though, and I don't know why. We've had legally you could ship to consumers, like distilleries could ship to consumers in Kansas since like 2009 legally, and yet when you get on all the websites, they're like, we can't ship to you. It's like the fuck. I don't know. Whiskey laws are weird, and online laws are weird. Um, but yeah, so I'm just sipping on a little cocktail in between. You've got good timing here in the next 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to be doing another giveaway. Earlier, I gave away a whiskey 411 challenge coin. I haven't decided what I'm giving away next, but stay tuned and we will figure it out. It's going to be something cool. Some or some channel merch, that sort of thing. But yeah, so I was just talking about some kind of the craft whiskey scene and kind of my take on some of it. Um, and I was talking about, we were talking about how the big brands, like the big names, like Blanton's, E.H. Taylor, Weller, all of those, they're bringing these high dollars for a good but not holy shit exceptional whiskey. And I was just sharing my thoughts on how I think that the craft scene is kind of weird like that. Is that for me personally as a consumer, I like supporting the smaller craft guys that are doing you know, they only have so many barrels to work with. Like I was saying, or just before you joined us, is Iron Root I think just laid down their thousandth barrel in the last year, so they're first their thousandth barrel that they've ever made, and yet they've won best whiskey in the world with two different whiskeys multiple years. And I think that is just impressive. And doing it at a price point that you can afford. Like, I think their high end bottles are going for like $85. If you can get a hold of them, they use a randomizer for some of their special releases. That's how I got the Apotheosis, or one of my Apotheoses. Um, was through their randomizer. Yeah, I actually had to enter to win it, and I got lucky and won it. It was cool. Um, I have a tri barrel also, a Solstice tri barrel. It was pretty great. But yeah, so I was talking about how that is really cool, and I like that. But also how whiskey, the market has kind of almost jumped the shark a little bit. Um, the market, we're seeing a lot of cooling off. Yeah, like even especially in the craft industry, things are kind of tightening back up. After this massive expansion over the last, I'll say, 10 to 15 years, but especially in the last 6 to 8 years, this massive explosion of craft whiskey, I think, has finally started to reach the balance point, and so we're starting to see some contraction on that. And unfortunately, we're seeing some ventures start to fail, or being sold off or traded or whatnot. And once again, that's not always a bad thing. Like a couple years ago, Balcones ended up selling to Diageo. Which was good and unfortunate at the same time. Believe it or not, it was actually great for production. Like it gave Balcones access to all kinds of barrels and resources that Diageo has. And I was talking to Emma Crandall. She told me a lot of this personally because she's one of their blenders. And Jared has told me this as well. Jared Hemstedt, the head distiller at Balcones, and they said, it's really great because they have access to all these resources. They said the downside is that because they're focusing on newer things. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there. Yeah, I screw everyone up because yeah, I do whiskey with just the Y, whiskey 411 without the E. I do it the Scotch style, for no other reason other than I like it that way. Mhm. Still haven't got it yet, but we'll see. I'll check it again here in a few minutes. Um, but yeah, I kind of screw with people a little bit because I mean, so much in our like the whiskey tribe, and a lot of most American whiskeys and whiskey companies use the E. I decided to drop the E just as a callback. So my family has some Scottish heritage. I mean, obviously generations ago, but it's used as kind of a little callback to heritage and that sort of thing. So we dropped the E. Whiskey with a Y. Oh yeah, but getting back, so I was talking to to Jared and Emma from Balcones. And yeah, like I said, they were saying it's really great, that they got access to all these resources, but with being the kind of the spearhead of the American single malt push, because Balcones is one of the big American brands who helped bring the classification of American single malt into being as a thing. They said the downside is they kind of had to shift focus a little bit, and they actually brought their focus. So they discontinued a lot of their whiskeys. So like I think they still make the rye potentially, but things like the peated, the French oak, Hechiceros, things like that are getting kind of pushed off to the side. I believe that they've discontinued the pot still bourbon as well, because they're focusing almost entirely on single malt. I think I can't remember what their numbers are, but I know that they were putting the bulk of their production into the focus on American single malt, which of course is what put their name on the map with the Texas single malt originally. Um, but yeah, so I think that's. Oh yeah, dude, that peated is fucking awesome. Yeah. Um, Let me check that email again just to make sure. Mm, yeah. I'll get it at like midnight or something. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Um, but yeah, so anyway, like yeah, as I was saying, whiskey's kind of jumped the shark. So you get the little brands, some of the smaller brands, the traditionally craft brands have either sold out or in the process of selling out, or at least combining. So I think in the next year or two, you might actually see quite a few of the smaller brands kind of start fading out or start combining into their own conglomerates a little bit, sort of like you had back in the late 80s and early 90s with like the Brown Foreman Group and things like that. I think we're going to see another one of those in the next couple of years, where you're going to see uh, more consolidation of brands again, which unfortunately means you're going to see discontinued brands and that sort of thing. Because it's a process, and it's sort of strange. Is some markets they have this they all have a cycle of ups and downs or whatever, and whiskey is kind of weird because sometimes its cycle is 5 or 10 years, and sometimes its cycle is 40 years, and it's so weird to see what's going to be next. I'm hoping flavored whiskey has truly jumped the shark and is just going to sit there in the background where it belongs. I'm really hoping that the American single malt market really blows up and does great things. Um, my biggest concern is that with the economy being what it is that it may not get the push it needs right now. It may be a year or two down the road before you really see the fruits of the labor of the American single malt coming out. Because when it first, uh, oh shit, that sucks. Two open bottle, or a backup bottle, and an Andalusia. Was it the Striker, or which Andalusia was it? I'll tell you one thing I did one time is I took a Ranger Creek um, port finish. It was a special release they had, and I took a Ranger Creek. Sorry, Ranger Creek, and then I took an Andalusia um, sherry, or vice versa. Anyway, I did this weird port sherry combination using Ranger Creek and Andalusia, and it was fucking magic. And I mean magic. If I had two bottles of that today and could blend them again, oh my god, I would do it, and I would put a little baby nipple on it and just fucking sip on it. It was so delicious. Yeah, and it was actually at the Bastards Ball where I made that blend. I blended that, and I took a splash of, I think it was Eleanor Weeded was in it. I took just the like 10% Eleanor Weeded, and then the other two basically 50-50, so like 40-40 and 10, 40-40-20, something like that. Anyway, it was so good. I actually shared it with both the guys from Ranger Creek and the guys from Andalusia, and everyone, all of us were just like, "Holy shit!" It was amazing. Triple distillation, is that's their Irish kind of version, right? That's their Irish callback. Am I thinking of that correct? And I know it's not Irish whiskey, obviously, but isn't that their Irish style that they do, the triple distillation? All right. Well, guys, about 10 more minutes, we're going to do a giveaway. So definitely stay tuned. If you got some friends who want to join us or are free, definitely invite them along. Ooh. Oh, damn. So those of you, if anyone else is reading the comments, obviously I'm reading the comments here. An infinity bottle with 11 different Still Austins in it, blends. Dude, that sounds great. Like Still Austin, like even before they did their actual full on straight bourbon release, like back when they were just releasing, no age statement stuff. Okay, yeah, my brother bought a bottle of that a couple years ago. That Andalusia, phenomenal, loved it. Um, it was everything you wanted in an American Irish whiskey. I mean, in an American style, in an Irish whiskey done American style. Like it was, yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, I totally get why it's one of your favorite Andalusias, 100%. Um, oh yeah, so back on Still Austin. So yeah, actually went down there. The first time I was down there was back in like 2018, 2019. That was back when Josh Madeir was still running it. He was still the distiller there before he moved on to other things, and got tours with him. Yeah, yeah. Guess how many fingers I'm holding up? Only because I'm jealous, though. You're able to replace him. You suck. I say that with love. You bastard. You magnificent bastard. You glorious trash panda. Um, yeah, I wish that's one of the downside to being 11 hours away from there. Is yeah, if I crack one of these open or lose it, or like I said, I got this treaty oak that unfortunately I was talking about earlier, kind of touched on it. Got found a squirrel to chase. Um, because I was going to review that treaty oak on my shelf, and I cracked it open. And like I said, I had the whiskey before, and Treaty Oak's really good. I mean, it is. It's a really good whiskey. I mean, it's not like holy shit, but it's really good. So this particular bottle, I cracked it open to do a review. Pour, got that sappy green note. So unfortunately, I got one. I have a few of those too, and I do have friends that hold bottles for me or set them off to the side, and things like that. Yeah, the whiskey world it is definitely important to have friends. Relationships in the whiskey world are important, and not to trade on, but just because good friends in the whiskey world just always share good things. It's just I love the community that we have in this little corner of the universe, and that's why I love being a part of it. It's really good. Um, but yeah, so I got this that sappy green note on that treaty oak, which really sucked because I was really looking forward to doing a review and giving a good review. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with distilling or barreling or whatever, but if you ever get a whiskey and you get that sap note, that tastes like green and sappy and kind of like almost like you drink a double IPA or something. What that typically is, it's a young barrel that the staves didn't age all the way. It's kind of an unaged barrel that it was not prepared to be used as a barrel. It needed some more aging, or what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Seasoning. It just so yeah. Unfortunately, I got one that snuck through the cracks. So I've been waiting to get another one so that I can give them an honest, fair review. Because the people at Treaty Oak are really friendly and really good, and they're innovative or trying to innovate, and they deserve a fair review, not a review of one that I know is simply from a barrel that they couldn't do much about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, and it's happened to Crowded Barrel too, and they specifically. So Daniel talked about this in one of our sommelier classes. He said it's something that they've ran into a time or two. Is you order, a particular aged oak, like because you have different options, and typically you order it that's been aged at least a year, or yard aged, not kiln aged. But you typically yard aged oak. Ah, okay. So yeah, yard aged oak, typically between 12 and 18 months old, and you get rid of that sappy now. Well, if you get one that sneaks through the cracks on you, well, I guess the trick is what he kind of said is if you catch it right away, you have a chance to save the whiskey. If you can get that rebarreled. Yeah. If you can afford to buy the oak that's aged 2 years, absolutely. I think a lot of the standard barrels, like the ready purchase ones, are typically about 12 to 18 months. I could be mistaken on that, but I agree. Yeah, and honestly, yeah, if you can get them that are 2 years or more, yeah, absolutely. But once again, supply and demand is definitely a thing these days too. I know it was in the last year or so. Uh, Lots of issues with getting new oak barrels, and that's honestly why the American single malt category was such a boon to the American whiskey scene. Was because we had such a bourbon glut. Oh, nice. I've had a couple California whiskeys. I don't know that I've had that one, but I've had a couple out of California that were surprisingly good. Little small craft boutique brands that made really good whiskey. So yeah, I look forward to trying more of them, honestly. But yeah, so getting back to the whole, I went off on a tangent and then chased a squirrel and then went down a rabbit hole and now I got lost. Give me a second. Um, that's kind of how I roll. Um, oh yeah, so the nice thing about the oh nice, yeah, hazmats. I love hazmats. They're awesome. I've actually tried a few. I got to try Iron Roots Hazmat as a pre-release, as a tasting. It was phenomenal. One of theirs, I think it was 2022. I think it was their 2022. Um, it may have been the 23. Uh, it was really good. But yeah, so what I was saying is the one of the cool things about, or that helped the American whiskey market in some ways over the last year, is when we got that American single malt category. It allowed us to get away from the new oak glut, because when all these whiskey companies were coming out, everyone was making bourbon. I mean, every American whiskey company, unless they were sourcing it, which was still using bourbon barrels, was making bourbon or trying to make bourbon. Trying to make straight bourbons. I mean, it's American, it's quintessential. I get it, but yeah, there was such a glut that about a year ago, you couldn't. There was waiting lists to be able to buy barrels, from a lot of the big cooperages. Like there was waiting lists to buy barrels. Yeah, exactly. And the crazy thing is the used barrels. There's still competition for those because um, companies like Diageo, they own so many brands, but what they do is, with the brands that they have, is they take their used bourbon barrels and send them to their Scotch companies and make Scotch with them. Age Scotch with their own bourbon barrels, so they don't have to buy more. But so it's, like I said, it's kind of a boon for the American whiskey market, is that we can make more American single malts. But I also see that there's going to be competition for those used barrels too now. Like you kind of, it's we have kind of a whiskey arms race going on right now. It's really kind of interesting to watch it play out, the way things are going right now. Um, is to see that, first we went from, first this big boom of America, of new bourbons and craft whiskeys in the American market, to seeing, starting to see a shortage of new oak barrels, to then we have, American single malt, to now, okay, well, with American single malt, now there's more competition for those used barrels that used to be really cheap and easy to get, and now everyone's kind of leaning toward into those. So yeah, it's getting the like I said, he's just got this constant arms race with the battle of the oak, as it were. Um, and watching it play out is kind of interesting and a little nerve wracking at the same time, because you just don't know how it's, you know, like I said, I think in some ways, I think we're at a stage of the whiskey market that we're going to be seeing. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, they've been snatching up our used barrels for years, but they also bought up so many American brands that they just ship their own to themselves. Um, if you look, I'd have to look to tell you I can't tell you off the top of my head. I've had a couple drinks since then and slept since then. But like companies like Diageo, I mean, they literally own, you know, bourbon company. Or you look at like um Suntory, Beam Suntory, you got Jim Beam and Suntory, but they own a couple Scotch companies too. And so yeah, like like those barrels aren't going to waste, but a lot of them aren't going to go to the open market like they used to either. I think you're going to see a lot less of those barrels, you know, finding their way into the craft market. Well, like they used to be able to get those barrels a little easier. Used to be like, hey, you guys got like 50,000 of those sitting around. You mind if I get two or three? And they're like, yeah, we'll sell them to you for X amount. I think you're going to see a little bit less of that in the coming years, at least for a little while, until production catches back up, or until the whiskey market just cools way off, which we are seeing it starting to. And I'm friends, and you obviously you have friends and contacts throughout the industry too, and you see there's a little bit of shrinkage going on. Someone jumped in too cold a pool, and just everything went north or south, however you want to look at it. But yeah, so I think the next 2 or 3 years are going to be really, really interesting to see the direction that whiskey takes, um, as a market, as a community, as brands. I'd like to think that you're going to see more collaborations, but I think that you're going to see a lot more condensing. Oh yeah. Oh, see, wine is great, and especially used wine barrels. My favorite whiskeys I've ever tried, some of my absolute favorites are ones that are finished in wine barrels, rather than sherry or port. I mean, sherry and port finishes are great, and I found a few that I absolutely love. But yeah, like wine barrel finishes, especially find an unusual wine that plays really well with the whiskey. Man, those things are fucking magic. Uh, you can't see it; it's behind me. But that Eleanor Chapter 8 that they finished in that Cinso barrel. Holy shit balls! Like probably, I've drank a shit ton of whiskeys over the year, and I would say that even though it's a source whiskey that's just aged, that's just finished in Cinso wine barrel, probably my still in my top 10 whiskeys of all time. Yeah. Well, I mean, you need the bigger barrels, or you need better insulated buildings. Like Iron Root has actually done that. Is they went and put heavy insulation in their barrel room to kind of absorb some of that, and it has helped. And it's gotten them more time. But the other option you have in Texas is do like Dan Garrison's doing, and just lean into it and just fucking oak the shit out of it. Like, oh, by the way, this is cowboy bourbon. It's 65% ABV, and it's like getting hit in the face with a whiskey flavored burnt stick of oak. It's good. It's Texas. It's fuck you Texas whiskey. The amazing thing, yeah, see, yeah, like the old silage houses or silage pits or whatever, yeah, things like that. Well, and that's the funny fact about, you look at like the rick houses in Scotland and such. A lot of those traditionally are more in a underground type capacity. A lot of those were like underground or half underground, so you actually had insulation, which obviously in their original form didn't help them much as far as getting color in the barrels, but definitely allows you to age it a shit longer. I mean, when you can get a 10-year-old whiskey that looks fucking clear, it's craziness. And people always doubt that, but I say if you ever want to get an idea of the difference between American whiskey and Scotch, well, the moisture from the ground shouldn't affect the whiskey too much. I guess it'll affect the proof. Yeah, it'll bring the proof down a little bit. It shouldn't affect the barrel impact though too much. I guess it depends on how much moisture you're talking, um, because the barrel influence, especially that oak, typically comes from time and or heat. Um, but yeah, I guess yeah, moisture would actually play a factor in the proof and the overall flavor profile for sure. Um, but yeah, like I said, if you want to see something crazy, is you just grab you a bottle of like Ardbeg 10, because they don't use any coloring, and yeah, or yeah, or 12-year-old Scotch. But yeah, our Big Ten. Pour a glass of that, and then pour a Balcones. Um, yeah, this one was finished in rum, so it's not necessarily fair. But you get, I mean, come on, versus clear. That looks like that looks like a whiskey bottle of Coke. It's so dark. Yeah, right. Kalila is good. I love Kalila. It's such a mild smoke. It's it's not overpowered. It's a balanced whiskey. It's not a right home to your friends. I've had this. It's amazing. But it's really well balanced, and all the peat is there, very well balanced. A very smooth, friendly peat smoke. As opposed to like a Port Charlotte or an Ardbeg, or even a Lafroig that just likes to just slap you. Rebecca Creek, Spanish Oak. No, I have not tried that. I could probably find it, but no, I don't think I've tried that one. Almost time for a giveaway. Actually, it is kind of time for a giveaway. Now I need to figure out what we're going to give away. So I already gave away a coin. Let's see here. I'm going to give away. No, you'll have to. Give me a sec. I got to disable my camera again. Yeah, turn off the auto. I accidentally held my hands up and confused it, and now it wants to follow me again. Stop. Yeah, my camera's just saying "fuck you." That's what it does. There we go. Okay. Held my hands up, and I told you I'd turn it back on by accident. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a giveaway. I look forward to that. Absolutely. Speaking of, let me check and make sure I got my email from you. Still no email. Um, okay, do me a favor. For whatever reason, when you get a chance, just swing over to the Whiskey 411 page. It's got a contact me. It says contact. It says the Baron at Whiskey 411. Click that and send me an email through that. I've never had that not work. I don't know why I'm not getting your email to the Whiskey 411 email. I don't know why that's happening. So yeah, just click the link and just do it that way. I just want to make sure I get it so that I get your address so I can get this to you. So I can so you get your coin. Yeah. So let's talk giveaways. Let's see here. So who all do I have who's actually here? If you don't comment, you're not eligible. How about that? We're gonna play that game. So Joe, if you're still here, go ahead and write something in the chat. And whoever else I got, post in the chat if you're interested in possibly winning a free giveaway. Otherwise, it goes to waste. And we don't waste good. We have another person. Okay, for you who's just joining us, you caught us just in time. I'm doing a giveaway. I said I'd be doing about every hour. We are in hour number 2. Just finished hour number 2. Awesome, Joe. All right. Congratulations, that's your entry. Okay, so if you're here and you'd like the opportunity to win something, a free giveaway right now, just for being here, just write a little something in the chat. Say hi, say your name, say whatever the fuck you want, and I will do a little random roll, and someone's going to win something from the channel as a thank you for being here. No purchase necessary or required. So for those of you who weren't here with them, or they left. All right. Joe, if you're still here, say something. And if so, everyone else dropped out and you get to be the automatic winner. Must be present to win. But yeah, so I gave out the coin earlier. And I think boom. All right, you win by default. Congratulations, my man. Mostly because your partner here, he won the first prize. So therefore you are getting the second prize. Second prize does not mean less. So let's see here. I am going to. It's going to be a pain to make sure I ship it because I'll have to get a special packaging. But you know what you're going to get? going to send you, and I don't send these out very often, by the way. Actually, I don't mail these typically at all. But as a thank you for being here and being here with us, you're going to get a Sorcery Distilling Wee Glencairn. It's good. Oh, let me turn off my camera again here. Yeah, there we go. So it's got the Sorcery Distilling logo. That is my brand. That is the distillery I am in the process of building. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing the live streams and trying to build our foundation. Everything. That's why I'm talking about everything whiskey. Is where the whole ultimate goal is to build Sorcery Distilling. So you are getting a free Sorcery Distilling Wee Glencairn, your very own tasting glass. So thank you for being here and thank you for joining us. And you're awesome for being here. So thank you. I will be getting those out. Go ahead, do the same thing. Go ahead and hop over to whiskey411.com. It's whiskey with just the Y, just like the channel is spelled. Whiskey411.com. You'll see my email at the top. Just click the Baron at whiskey411.com. Send me an email with your name and address that you'd like it shipped to, and I will get it in the mail to you this week. As a thank you both for being here, right? Because I appreciate you guys and I appreciate you being a part of this and listening to me ramble and helping me, you know, build a better whiskey community. Well, maybe not better, but build another good whiskey community. Build a community. Whiskey is all about people. If you focus on too much on business, on making money, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Baron, like the title. You just having all kinds of problems there. Yeah, not like Baron Trump. I don't get political, so I'm just going to leave that one where that lies and just say, yeah, like a nobility baron title. But yeah, so yeah, get that did switch me over to a really great topic. Perfect. Is that one of the things I want to do, and part of why I'm trying to do crowdfunding, crowdsourcing here, is I've had a lot of people ask me. They say, "Well, why don't you just look into getting investors and that sort of thing?" I said, "Well, for one, my people are my investors, so to speak." I said, "But two, my goal is to never have this become a corporate structure per se. Like, I'm not saying we won't have to switch to a corporate structure at some point, just for legal reasons to keep it, continuing. But I don't ever want to be." I don't want it to ever be something that's beholden to large investors. I don't think that people who, uh, I don't think that's just because you buy in for 50,000 or even $500,000, whatever. Um, I don't think that just because you have the money to do that doesn't mean that you have the knowledge to create and run a whiskey company or to do great things. So the whole concept of staying crowdsourced and crowdfunded, for me, has always been maintaining the control by the community, by the people who are supporting the community. The people who are buying coins, buying shirts, paying subscriptions, things like that. People who care and have a personal investment in the community. Because my concern has always been, that if I do investing, if I did like a Kickstarter or a get investors or what have you, and there's lots of programs for that, and those are great, and there's nothing wrong with them. Is that my biggest concern is that once you do that, you're beholden to investors, and there's nothing wrong with that except that when you owe your investors financially, then the focus, it becomes making money instead of making quality whiskey. And to me, my brand, no matter how big or small, um, even if I only ever release a barrel or something, whatever, I don't give a shit. Is that my brand? We are all about quality and community first. It's not about the money. Yeah, the money helps absolutely, and obviously to make a living and things like that. Yeah, thank you. Cool. Thank you, Joe. Um, so yeah, the is rather than get these investors and then we're focusing on shareholders. Oh, we gotta make more money. We gotta be constantly you know cutting corners, saving money, cutting costs, blah 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 blah, everything to squeeze every last penny of profit out. Guys, fuck that. I mean, yes, it's a business model that has obviously worked for all these companies, Amazon, everyone else. Yeah, you cut corners, whatever. Look, if I'm not trying to be a billionaire here, I don't want to be a billionaire. Fuck that. I mean, if someone dropped me $1 billion, I wouldn't know what the hell to do with it anyway. Um, I spent my whole life working from the time I was 15 years old. Um, I started working at a garden nursery when I was 15, and just moved on from there. Um, but my goal is to build a brand that it's all about the community and giving our people what they want: high quality products, products that they get a say in. Like doing releases that people want to try or want to see. Um, Making sure that we're keeping our word. And here's the other big thing: is paying our people, you know, not just living wage, but fair wage. So one of my goals here, and this is something I haven't advertised a lot. Yeah, actually, you can see right up there. I've been a Whiskey Tribe Baron since 2018. Actually, I've been a whiskey sommelier since 2022. Yeah, 2022. Spring of 2022. I became a whiskey sommelier, level one. Now I'm a level three. You can't see it; it's right there. But yeah, I've actually been around the Whiskey Tribe for the last 6 years. This year was the first the first Bastards Ball I've missed since the very first one, due to injuries and such. But yeah, so getting back to that, so one of my goals, and this is something that I'm going to be putting out more in the paid subscription exclusive video content, but I'll talk about it here because, like I said, all of like 25 people are going to watch this video anyway, unless you guys are really influential and get other people to watch it, um, which would be great. But I'll go ahead and tell you guys here because, like I said, it's almost like keeping a secret anyway. Is one of my goals is to if so obviously I've got the ultimate goal is to raise about $1 million, and I've actually got really good processes for that, because I figured out it's a numbers game. It's not about getting you know 100 people to donate, $10,000 a piece, right? Like, yeah, that would do it. But it's more like getting, you know, 1,000 people to donate $100 a piece. That gives you a huge start. Uh, so that's kind of how we're building. Is I'm trying to build it organically. Obviously, I want to do it quickly, but I want to do it organically and naturally, and I want to do it in a way that we maintain our values. But the ultimate goal is if is by raising that. Oh, nice, nice. Shit, I don't have a whole lot of influence either. I've been building it. I always joke with people that I'm the whiskey guy that everyone has seen and nobody knows. Because if you've watched old 2018, 2019 Whiskey Tribe videos, if you watch Whiskey Tribe videos over the years, you've seen me in them. I've been in several actually. Um, I was in the intro for like 6 months. There's a little flash of me in the intro for like 6 months between 2018 2019. So I always joke, yeah, I'm the guy that everybody's seen and nobody knows. I'm the whiskey world's best kept secret apparently. And I don't know, maybe there's a reason for that. You tell me. But yeah, so one of the things I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to raise the money. I want to build this, and part of how I'm building this is, like I said, people first, taking care of people. So my ultimate goal is actually to pay my staff, and I mean even my bartenders. The intention is I'm gonna start with 2 to 3 employees, and everybody making a minimum $60,000 a year. Now that depending on where you're at, that may not seem a lot, but the average income in Kansas, the average income is about $46,000. Um, so far above state average. Additionally, doing a 10% automatic 401k thing. I'm actually good question. I'm actually looking at making American single malts, obviously, but various types. And I do want to do a couple bourbons and special odd whiskeys, experimental whiskeys, but as core releases, probably a bourbon and a single malt and maybe a rye or something. I haven't kind of figured that one out. But I'm going to shoot for about 3 to 4 primary primary whiskey labels, and then maybe expand with some specialties here or there. So I actually got the got quotes and everything. Oh, y- you know this peated American single malt. Come on, son. Uh, well, and here's the thing: it's crowdsourced, right? So everyone's going to get a say in that. So just like Crowded Barrel does theirs, I'm doing a similar model to that. So all of our people who have invested their time and money into this are going to get a say in it. Yeah, like we're still sticking with the crowd sourced model because I think that's important. Now, yeah, you got to keep it under control, but I'm also keeping it very limited. At any given time, I think by my math is there's only run a couple different models, but even at the outside, there's really only about 3 to 4 thousand spots total for people who to kind of buy into it or whatever. And the buy-ins anywhere from basically I think it was $60 a year up to $1,000 for a year is kind of the range of the buy-ins, and each one has different benefits and all that. And I've kind of done the figuring. I'll be doing exclusive videos coming out later for that. But since we're here, I'll talk to you guys about it. It's cool. But yeah, so like I said, starting my employees out at about 60K a year, starting. So that's the first year with a automatic 10% 401k deposit. Like not they have to match it. Like we're just going to give them an extra, basically $6,000 a year toward the in a 401k. Um, because I want my people to be taken care of. But after my injury this last year, it really put in perspective how important people are and how important it is to take care of people because a lot of people just aren't take care of. Our system is kind of broken, and I can't fix the system. What I can do is fix the part of the system that I'm in. So that's kind of my goal. Is like I said, my bartenders aren't going to work for tips. They're not going to be reliant on tips. They're going to be full-time paid employees. They probably won't even have to work 40 hours a week. It's a distiller. You know how those are. You guys have been to those. You're not really running them 40 hours a week in your tasting rooms and stuff. Or if you are, it's typically more than one person, but they're still going to get paid a 40-hour paycheck. It's going to be basically a salary based on 40 hours or less, because that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that I take care of my people so good that they never want to leave, and so that I can always make sure I have the best people for the job. And as we grow and expand, I'll be bumping those up. Right. Exactly. Happy employees are absolutely they the studies have shown that they work up to 20 or 30% harder, as a matter of fact. And staying longer and loyal is great too. Plus, like I said, is by treating them well, paying them well, making sure they all have proper training. Because I'm going to send my staff to become whiskey sommeliers on the company dime. The company's going to pay for that. That way, everyone has that same general skill set and understanding, that same kind of mentality. Because I think that's important too as part of a team. And also, it opens up opportunities for them if they do grow beyond the distillery. Um, but yeah, so that's where we're at that on that. I also decided to put a corporate cap. Well, it's corporate being a loose word because it's not a corporation structure yet. But basically, myself as the president or whatever, I think I did the math and I think I figured out that I think I calculated that I was going to put a cap of 5 times the base salary. So like if my base employee is making $60,000 a year, the most I'm allowed to pay myself is 300K. Now that's a long way off, regardless. But putting a cap on that and doing it this way is the only way to give myself a raise is by giving them a raise. And that's going to go for every member of management, or as it expands, that's going to be a set thing. We're not going to be this is not going to be that the big American bloated culture of, well, the boss makes 1,000 times what that guy makes, or 100 times what that guy makes. Fucking why? Like, at a certain point, you make more than enough. Like, even like theoretically, if I'm making 300K a year on my own, paying myself 300K a year, if I can't live on that in this area under the current climate, don't deserve to be getting paid that much anyway. So yeah, I'm very big on being fiscally responsible, but also taking care of people and treating people good. And I hope this is one of the things I really hope to do is once we get taken off and once especially production. So I've actually already got quotes in a 600-gallon still, which should be enough to produce approximately a barrel per day. The goal being to produce actually about 240 barrels a year once we reach maximum production. Um, the first year, the goal is to make around 60 to 100 barrels in the first year, just depending on when we get everything up and going and so on. But the goal is to shoot for between 60 and 100 barrels the first year, ramping up to maybe 120 to 180 the second year. Uh, or if we could hit max capacity, great. But otherwise, moving up and by year three, running at full capacity of about 240 barrels a year. Um, which, if you can do math, adds up real quick. And the goal, in order to maintain profits and to do the thank yous, because we're going to have a limited release. So there's going to be an annual release. Think of it like a whiskey club. Um, it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be like $250. It is, but I'm also going to make only going to make 2,000 bottles, and it's only going to be available to the people who actually support the company, like the people who are bought in. Basically the people who buy into that. That's just one of their thank yous is getting that bottle. Total limited release made only for them. I haven't figured out what I'm going to call that specific brand, but the concept's already there. Um, and I think there may be an extra 100 or 2 bottles that will be available for sale, but they're going to be available for sale at like a stupid price. Uh, because honestly, that one's not about making the money. It's about saying thank you to the people who make keep us going. Um, and there's going to be some other cool things, some added benefits, and those are all I've got those all written down and they're in the works, and I'll be doing videos on that over time. So yeah, this is a weird kind of channel. I have the benefit of Whiskey 411 is not a nonprofit entity yet. I do plan on spinning it off into one at some point, into a educational, collaborational type program. Uh, but in the meantime, I have the benefit of Whiskey 411 and Sorcery Distilling both. I don't have to operate in any gray areas as far as fundraising, things like that, because both are for profit companies, currently speaking. Well, and that's and I thought about that, and so my brother and I actually came up with the concept, and this is what we came up with. Is look, the first year that bottle is going to be what it is. I mean, think of it as a commemorative bottle, basically. Now, it may not knock your socks off. In fact, it's not going to. I can promise you, the first year it's probably not going to be a holy shit $250 bottle of whiskey. But that's not why you're buying it. It's not why you're buying in. First of all, you're buying in because you believe in the company and you want to be a part of it. Um, and the bottle is a thank you. But the real reason you're doing it is because think long term. Yeah, if you got that $250, you got your name on the distillery walls and so on and so forth. All the little ancillary benefits that come with that. But you also have a bottle that can't be bought by anyone at any price, no matter how good it is. Whether it's the shittiest whiskey in the world or the best whiskey in the world, your buddy or your neighbor, whoever, that guy you work with who's a total dick who has like more money than brains, fuck him. He can't buy it. That's why. It's a thank you. And over time, they'll only go up in value. You want a funny story? This is about 4 or 5 years ago now. I think about 5 years ago. You ever want to have a holy shit moment? Yeah. You ever want to have a holy shit moment? Look up what a first year or fifth anniversary even bottle of Balcones goes for. An unopened fifth anniversary bottle of Balcones, or a first like a 2009 or 10 Balcones goes for. Holy fuck balls! So it is something that will go up in price, not because the whiskey is going to get any better, but because it's so limited and so special, and so unique. And so the longer people are a part of this, the more they'll have a collection of those. And it's just kind of that this thing where, in say 10, 20 years, you've got these bottles, this collection of these that either you drink or you pass along to your kids or your grandkids or whoever. And it's just, yeah, by the way, look at this interesting collection. And next thing you know, you got this weird thing that, and some of them are going to get drank, and that's cool. It's your whiskey. Do what the fuck you want with it. Take it out and shoot it with a 50 cal if you want. I mean, it's yours. You paid for it. But yeah, and like I said, this is just giving you guys kind of the broad strokes of kind of the idea of what we're doing, of what the goals are. And there's going to be more that goes with that. Uh, I think the $250 or like I said, I don't have my sheet in front of me. I actually have it all written down. Well, yeah. Well, and see, and that's where I thought about that. See, I thought about that collector's item versus drink one. I had that. I'm a thinker, same as you. Um, this is my concept. So you get that three that hold up, I got to disable my camera again because I'm an idiot. Yeah, 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 yeah. Turn off, fucker. There we go. So you're paying like the $250 for that 750, right? For the fifth. Well, included with that, we're gonna make, because we're gonna bottle enough. We're gonna make like the little. Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. And so included with it is an actual like either one or two sample bottles, so that you actually can drink it or sip on it or whatever without touching your big bottle, unless you really want to. Then hey, like I said, you're a whiskey. Do what the fuck you want with it. But yeah, I had that in mind. Is like I'm one of those people where if I get a little sample bottle of the same exact whiskey and sip on that, or like a 375 or something even, and sip on that instead of my big bottle, and I can save my big bottle, then hey, why the fuck not? And like I said, there will probably be some bottles available for sale, or that may be included in that. I'm still working out final details. We're like I said, broad strokes, guys. Um, but yeah, so there will be opportunities that for especially people who are members to get extra or get access to whatever we have. Basically the key being is that it's not going to be a marketed release, as far as it's not going to be sold out on through the distillery, or it's not going to be ever sold in stores. It's going to be sold, or it's going to be as a basically a gift to everyone who is a member of the, effectively, I haven't figured out the name for it, but the Sorcery Distilling Founders Club, effectively, is what it is. We'll think of a cooler name for it. You guys can help with that. Cool. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at on that. Yeah, see, I'm with you. I have 150, 200 bottles here, and I would say that aside from a lot of some of my Eleanors that I have doubles of, and some of my special release whiskeys, I would say that all of my big brand ones or standard releases are open, or I've already drank them before. Like my French oak, my Balcones French oak, it's still sealed, but I've had French oak before, and I've had it a few times, and it's really good. The peated, same thing. That I'll tell you, when I did finally get replaced was my Balcones High Rye Bourbon. It took me like 2.5 years to find a replacement bottle, but I got one. That's my jam. That is my jam. But yeah, so like I said, different things, different ideas of things we're going to be doing and what I want to do. Oh, Froke is amazing. Uh, it's like Balcones single malt with pancakes and syrup. Delicious. Um, yeah. But yeah, so that gives you an idea of kind of some of the ideas I have in mind, or some of where we're going, or what the goal is. But like I said, the key to me is always remember where I came from, and always doing the best I can to make the whiskey world and my corner of the world a better place. So, if I can end up with a dozen employees, and we're making enough money due to sales or whatever, that I can pay them all 100 grand a piece, then that's what I'm going to fucking do. If that means that the company has to take a 10% or 20% pay cut to the profit margin for the company itself, fuck it. As long as the company is making enough money to keep going and to keep perpetuating the cycle of making high quality whiskey at reasonable prices and treating our people good and keeping good people coming through the doors and surrounding ourselves with good people, I don't give a fuck if we only make $1 in profit a year, and I can do that because no shareholders. That's my whole concept. That's the whole idea. Make a whiskey company that's all about people, not about not about money. And I'm not saying I'm the only one. Obviously, there are a lot of companies out there that do that and are trying to do that and have done that in some ways. I'm just trying to do it in a different way, and I want to do it in a creative, fun, you know, interesting way. That's But yeah. So you guys are actually the first people outside of family and a couple of other whiskey somms that have actually heard that. Um, I've had a conversation a few times with a few folks. Hey, I get it going. I will be needing staff at some point. I mean, you would have to relocate to Kansas, and sorry about your luck there, but it's not expensive to live in. Well, buying houses in this area is a bitch, but on the whole. But yeah, so it's really cool. Actually, I sat down on my computer and actually did a layout of the building. I think I'd have to look at what the most recent design was, but I think I was looking at doing either a 60 by 125 building or I actually came across the opportunity to do like a 100 by 150 building, so feet by feet. So the distillery is going to be built with tours in mind. So it's built so that the tour actually takes you visibly through every step of the process, and you can see every step of the process and take part in some ways in every step of the process. It's going to be the distillery is also going to be an educational place. So eventually, I plan on having the folks from Stave and Thief, the guys who do the distiller school and stuff, and having them come out and help teach classes or that sort of thing. Like I said, I'll be sending my people to the whiskey sommelier class. But I plan on hosting classes there. Eventually, I actually want to put in a second still. This is like 3 to 5 years down the road after things get going. I want to put in a second still, strictly for doing, and it's crazy, but for doing special distillations, like literally either crowdsourced or distillations for others. So not like sort of almost like contract distilling. Yeah, so think like this, but think if you were able to like for as a concept, what if you were able to come into the to sorcery distilling, um, select the grains and everything that you want to use, go through the process with the mash, like either remash it all or whatever, but go through that whole process of doing everything, and then it's distilled and barreled for you. Uh, Still working on the pricing and things like that for that, but that's a concept I've had is basically allowing people who have really great ideas or who are trying to do launch their own brands, like I'm trying to do, is to make it easier for smaller people, people with great ideas to at least find a way to get into the market. Because once again, it's not about competition. It's really not. It's whoever makes the best whiskey or either the most affordable whiskey or the best whiskey is who's going to win at the end of the day. So it's not about competition. It's just about making good fucking whiskey. And if I can help someone else get their foot through the door, and you know, yes, it's definitely worth it. If you like whiskey, someone is definitely awesome. Like I said, I went through the class. It took me 4 years before I was able to afford it and get into it, but it was my 40th birthday present to myself back in 2022. Um, I got my level one, and then just this last fall, I hit my level three. So I'm a level three somm through the Wizard Academy. I've actually helped host courses. Actually, I had the opportunity this last spring to host my brother's level one class. So he went through level one, and I got to be the host there. It was really awesome. So I got to be there for his graduation and help pour the whiskeys and clean everything. It was a lot of fun. Definitely worth going to. Um, I can't speak enough on it. In fact, part of why I'm doing this, so I mentioned goals and stuff. So part of why I'm doing the subscriptions with like Whiskey 411, and if you look at the Whiskey 411 webpage, or if you join us on Facebook, you can see a little bit more of it. But if you go to the shop on Whiskey 411, you'll see a classy trash pan. It's a subscription for the upcoming subscriber only content and exclusive content and such. And there's some swag involved and included. Uh, but if you it, for so it's going to be $5 a month as a subscription. The goal being to get to about 4,000 subscribers a month. Once I get to this is where I'm going to do things different. If I can get to 4,000 subscribers a month, which is a lot, but not a lot. You guys know this. Like it's a lot, but it's not an insane amount for $5 a piece. Is actually when I'm actually going to give a permanent 20% discount and bring it down to $4 a piece. Um, because again, it's not about making a shit ton of money off of it. It's about making enough money to keep it going and to uh, expand and keep people interested. So that's the goal, is to hit 4,000 paid subscribers. My first goal is hitting 100, but my second goal is to hit 1,000. And then if I can hit 2,000 subscribers, I'm actually going to be donating. Because at 2,000 subscribers, that's what, $10,000 a month is what that comes out to. And what I'm going to do once we hit that landmark, which is a big landmark, is I'm actually going to take and donate $10,000 to the Wizard Academy. Now, and this is something I don't advertise because I don't like to brag it, but I have been a annual donor up until this last year due to my injuries. I've been an annual donor on my own to the Wizard Academy, not just for classes, but as an actual donor too. And I've obviously been a whiskey tribe so I believe in people. I like investing in people I believe in, not because of the returns on it, but because I believe in something. No, I don't have a Patreon, and part of why I didn't do Patreon, that's why I actually have it all through my own website, is to cut out the middleman. So Patreon takes anywhere between 5 and 20%. Um, Whereas by running it through the webpage, and you can look me up, you can actually look up Sorcery Distilling. It's a registered company with the Kansas Secretary of State. We are an actual legit business, and everything goes to a business account. Everything is actually accounted for, and it's secure. It's through Wix Pay, so it's got Visa Pay and all that. But the reason I did that was, one, to cut out the middleman, to maximize the money that we can bring in, and to make sure that your money is going where you want it to go. But also because the only thing I have to pay is the standard fees, the standard processing fees, which is like 30 cents to the pay service or whatever. So it's like it's almost nothing to do it that way. So I did that to save costs to the channel, but also to make sure that we're maximizing money going where it should be going, instead of paying Patreon, Kickstarter, or any of those their fees, while doing the exact same thing. Um, yeah, I'm still setting up a few of the bells and whistles. I don't have everything set up like like Patreon does, but I have the general things all set up, and I've got shipping set up and things like that. But yeah, if you're curious, just check out whiskey411.com. There's not a whole lot on it. I'm working on building it. Once again, I'm doing this all myself, and I was building this all while I was working full time. I've been on temporary disability for about a year, ever since I almost cut my foot off. I still haven't been cleared back to go back to work yet. But my idea is, since I've been sitting here disabled and everything, and not able to do my old job, is that I needed to find something that could potentially take its place, and this is something I can do, something that serves a purpose, something I care about, and something where I can make a living doing, and I can bring some joy to the world, as it were. Um, but yeah, so definitely check out Whiskey 411. You can also check out sorcerydistilling.com. That's the Sorcery Distilling, obviously. These glasses are for sale there. I think I sell them for like $15. Yep. Yeah, so Sorcery Distilling, that's me. I'm also Whiskey 411. Different web page, same person, same basic company. Like I said, eventually Whiskey 411 will split off. I've actually already been talking to a couple people. as far as who will be coming on board. Cheers, welcome. Um, to people who will be coming on board to take over and help run that when I spin Whiskey 411 off into a nonprofit. So I've been working on that slowly as well. So I've got a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of things going on, a lot of kind of plans in the works. But yeah, if you make your way over to Sorcery Distilling, you'll see that we have the glasses for sale. We have the challenge coins for sale. Those are also ways to support building the distillery. Every little bit helps. It does. Honestly, I'll tell you guys, I have never actually paid myself a penny for this channel. Now I'm working on changing that. I'm working on expanding the income so I can actually pay myself, but also while expanding the channel and giving you guys everything. So speaking of, this is good news, and unfortunately, more of my subscribers actually are on, so you guys get the news before they do. Fuck them for not being here, right? Um, is because I had a couple subscribers, a couple of new paid subscribers in the last just yesterday. We got a couple new paid subscribers who decided to join because they want to be a part of this. Due to that, we've already met the goal for getting the rewards stuff for when we hit our 100 subscribers. So the original plan is once we hit 100 subscribers to send out a custom Whiskey 411 Class C Trash Panda Society pin. I got a proof of it on our Facebook page. And a Whiskey 411 lanyard as thank you gifts to the first 100 subscribers. Now, due to these people donating and being a part of this, I actually will be ordering those just this week. I'm still waiting for input from the Whiskey 411 community as far as the proofs to make sure that they like them. But once they get those, we have the funds. We're going to actually order those, and I'm going to be getting those sent out to people as they get their subscriptions in. So yeah, no, that's the first thing. So we're actually in a really great place. So a nice little pin and a lanyard as thank yous for signing up and joining us. And once again, that's to help me catch up on my bills. Honestly, like no bullshit. That's to help me catch up on everything that's fallen behind while I've been on disability. But it's also to help truly help build this channel in this community. It allowed me to buy more whiskeys so we can do more reviews more often. It also allows me to budget to actually go visit these distilleries. That's one thing that I was trying to get into before my injury was going to distilleries and doing reviews either at the distillery or getting something there and doing a review, near the distillery. But the whole point being is I'm a firm believer that if the best way to support a distiller is to go to the distillery. And that's just because I have so many friends in the market that I know how it works. So when I buy that bottle at the store, you buy that bottle of, say, Saints Alley at the store. You buy this at the store and you pay, I think, 65 bucks for it, right? I think it's roughly what you pay at the store. Iron Root is only getting about 30 bucks of that, $25 to $35 of that. Because of the way that distribution works. Whereas if you buy this from the distillery, like I did, it's my little sticker. If you buy it from them, they get 100% of your money. And I think to me, that's the most important thing I can do is to make sure that if I'm really wanting to support a company, that my money is going where I want it to go. And that's why I think it's so important for me to all of you, or to whether you decide to subscribe or not, but to potential subscribers or future subscribers to be very transparent about my goals and what I'm doing. Because I think there's not enough of that and you can never have too much of that. Trust is one of those things that's really hard to earn and even harder to keep, but real easy to lose and impossible to get back. And so that's the way, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, right? So once again, Joe at Joe's Whiskey Den he won the Sorcery Distilling We Glencairn. Mark, Mr. Great Shot, my man, he won a giveaway of a Whiskey 411 first edition challenge coin. So those will be going out this week. Here in about 10 or 15 minutes, I'll do another giveaway here real quick. We'll do at least one more here. So stay tuned, or if you have friends, get them on board. Um, must be here to win, but it's free. Obviously, you need. I'm not handing out anything that's actual whiskey, so the age thing is not an issue. However, for obvious legal reasons, make sure you got an American address, things like that, just for simplicity. Beyond that, it's a thank you for watching. It's a thank you for being here. It's thank you for the great conversation with all of you. You guys have been great. The new coin, I'm actually still finalizing the design. It's going to be similar to this one. You said you made it to the website, the Whiskey 411 page. You can see the original one. It's 2022 actually. It's first edition. I made it. There were only 100 of these made, um, and there'll never be more. Um, well, I guess if I had enough orders for them, I'll make more. But realistically, there will never realistically be more of these. I've got the new version. I got it in for proofs with the company that makes them. I'm still waiting on that to get back. And once again, I always run the proofs through the Facebook page, the Whiskey 411 Facebook page. I always run them through there for comment. I try to leave them up for a week for comment before I actually submit an order, because the whole point is that I can design a cool coin. I mean, that's that's a cool coin. That's the sorcery distilling coin. I mean, I designed that myself. So, but I'd rather it be something that you guys like. So stay tuned. And they will, once I do have them ordered, they will be available at whiskey411.com. And probably on here in some way. But yeah, so that's the sorcery distilling, the piece of eight, the doubloon I call it. So but yeah, like I said, the new versions are new version has been designed, or at least has a proof made, and then it's going to be similar to the original, but a little different. Yeah, thanks. Um, yeah, I do the artwork in house. I actually design these myself. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's actually the sorcery distilling coin. So yeah, that's the distillery's coin. It's hard to read. My camera is focused on me. Let's see. There you go. Oh, I have it upside down. There you go. So sorcery distilling, and then our logo. And I believe it or not, I actually designed that logo. If you look at it, it's hard to kind of see here. But if you look up the sorcery distilling, or go to the web page, or go to our Facebook page, the logo is actually, so it's obviously a 5-pointed star, but each of those symbols is actually an old alchemy symbol that has a reference to something in the process of making whiskey. So every one of the little symbols actually has something to do with a whiskey making process, or a port of whiskey. And I thought that was something when I designed it that I wanted to be really cool. And it took me forever. It took me a couple of years to finally land on a logo, and a design that I really liked for a logo. And that's what I landed on, and that's what I've stuck with, and that's what it's going to be forever. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, actually, so yeah, I don't hire out the artwork typically. I've had people with input. I've had people help with input. The original Trash Panda T-shirts, that you can actually still find on whiskey411.com, that design was actually, the drawing was actually designed by a Whiskey 411 member, that I made a few modifications and coloring alterations to, but the basic artwork was done by a member. As a thank you, he got a free shirt. Got his own free version of that shirt. So he got a shirt that basically he designed. So as a thank you. I'm big on collaboration. So if you guys ever put in input or things like that, I'm a big thing. Like if you give me a great idea for something, like, oh, I have this great coin design or whatever, and I can make it work, dude, you'll probably get your own free coin if I decide to go with it. Like that's how I roll. Like I believe in giving credit where it's due. Like, we all prop each other up around here. It's not anyone. No, we don't step on people's heads. All right. So what else you guys got? I mean, you guys got questions, comments, concern. I love the way the conversation is going, and I love having more of you here. So definitely hit me. Whatever you want. You can ask me basically anything. Whether you like the answer or not, that's up to you. All right. What was I going to drink? Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna drink. 2019 rum cask finish, Balcones single malt. What do you guys have in the glass right now? All right. Put my nose right up in there. That'll wake you up. Mm. Snag, nice. Blanton's not bad. I was telling Mark earlier, I got a bottle of Blanton's right up here. It's really cool. I always like to keep a holy hand grenade around. It's cool. I probably overpaid for it a little bit, but it's also impossible to find here, so I bought it a couple years ago. It's good. Um, I would never buy it for the hype, but if I'm just wanting to buy it because I like Blanton's, then you know it's a perfectly serviceable whiskey. Seneg is good. It's hard to find. You can't. It's really hard to find here. I know you can find it down in Texas, relatively easy. Dude, Blanton and Coke is good. Blanton's and Coke is really good. Like, don't sleep on that. I mean, I've mixed really high dollar whiskey with Coke just because it tastes good. Or yeah, I know Seneg you can find down in Texas all over the place. Are you in Texas, Joe, or whereabouts you at? Cali. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Cali gets all the good shit. Yeah, if you're not a Coke fan, Dr. Pepper, great alternative. My secret go-to, like my little don't take my Somme medallion away, but my secret, guilty pleasure is actually Basic Crown and Dr. Pepper. Excellent. I just don't have any Dr. Pepper right now. And actually, I think I might be out of regular Crown. Oops. 100 bottles of craft whiskey and no Crown. Oh, fuck. I've had Malort. Ooh, rye. Which rye? Which rye? Yeah, I got away from Mountain Dew a little bit just because I've tried to get away from more sodas in general. Not because I have diabetes, but just because I'm getting older and avoiding sugar is usually a good thing. Yeah, that's a good answer for Malort. Yep, Malort is one of those drinks where if you just hate yourself and everyone around you, that's what you drink. Like it's literally self-loathing in a bottle. Someone brought it to the Bastards Ball to the La Quinta party a couple of years back, and I'd had it before. I was just like, nope, or pass. But someone also brought Obtainium, the 27 year Obtainium or Unobtainium. Holy shit, that was good. 27-year-old Canadian whiskey released at cask strength. It was 70% alcohol. That shit was fire and smooth. Barrel aged Malort. I mean, I would imagine that at least if you barrel aged Malort, that it would, you know, calm its tits a little bit. Like, I don't know that you can make it better, but I would imagine it wouldn't, at least wouldn't make it worse. Um, it reminds me, when I was at Psalm 2, we were figuring out what to do with Jameson Orange. So I don't know if you guys had a Jameson Orange. It's not something I would recommend buying necessarily unless you just like really orange flavored whiskey or whatever. Not really my jam, but we had a bottle of it at the down at the housing. Um, so keep in mind that in this class, this level 2 whiskey class, it's a class. So there's like 12 to 14 already qualified whiskey somms, whiskey sommeliers who are trained to taste, blend, balance, match, whatever. Um, we went through Georgia, right on, right on. Whereabouts in Georgia? Oh, Dickel Tabasco. Phew. We couldn't make that blend with it. That didn't even make a good Bloody Mary. We tried. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, so the Jameson Orange, 14 of at least 14 qualified Psalms used everything in the stocked kitchen located at the Wizard Academy at Engelbrecht, and could not find anything to balance out the overwhelming orange flavor, no matter what we tried. I think the closest we got was butter pecan ice cream was one of the closest we got to actually tamping down the orange enough to make it palatable. And it's not like it's bad. It's just it's so artificial orange and so much orange. It's yeah. Dickel Tabasco is similar. It's just like, oh, like it's not bad, but just, it doesn't seem to go with anything. It doesn't want to go with anything. Like I said, we tried to make a Bloody Mary and it was passable. Oh, nice. And that's another SMWS drinker. Right on, right on. SMWS is hard to get here. Kansas is really weird. We have some really weird shit in the state. So Kansas is another weird one of the reasons we have really shit distribution. Don't get a lot of great whiskeys locally in Kansas itself. Is that Kansas has this weird law where we don't allow our state does not allow chain stores. What I'm saying is like so Specs and all those couldn't operate in Kansas. They're not allowed to operate in Kansas as liquor stores. It's because an individual can only own one store. So we have these stores in Lawrence, which is where I'm from, where I live, called Cork and Barrel. They do Cork and Barrel has a really good selection. Honestly, they've got a really good selection, but they have two stores, and the stores are independently owned by a couple. Like one of them owns one store, one of them owns the other. They have completely separate books, completely separate financials, and everything. They're not allowed to commingle their inventories or anything else. So yeah, Kansas is really weird. Now, one thing Kansas does have, which benefits me as trying to build a distillery, is that Kansas does allow for they have no limit on bottle sales from the distillery. So like if you show up, you back your fucking truck up to the fucking dock. You wanted a pallet? There you go, chief. That'll be 20 grand, whatever the fuck. I don't know. However much that calculates out to. But you want a pallet? Here it is. Boop. Have a nice day. See you next week. So yeah, it's really weird. Like you can't distribute, but you can sell the fuck out of it. But yeah, that's the other cool thing. So about 10 years ago, someone actually tried to open a distillery in the Lawrence area, but they started with like vodka or something, and they never bothered to expand. And so that one closed down after just a year or two. They were just never able to get it going. But there's never Jepson. I've heard of. I don't think I've ever actually had Jepson. I heard about it. Their bourbon, the Jepson bourbon. I don't think I've ever tried it either. There might be a bottle at the whiskey vault, but I'm not sure. Either way, I can't say I can't. I don't think I've ever had it. Mhm. This bottle I opened with my brother about a month or so ago when him and my sister-in-law bought a new house. We got this bottle when we went on our second road trip to through Balcones back in 2019. Brunswick, Canadian, right? Am I thinking that right? Canadian area, Northeast New England. Having a brain fart. Mm. But yeah, so that's kind of where things have been going for me. Like I said, we're just I realized with everything going on that one I needed to spit out the pity dick and actually do something, or at least try to do something, whether I'm limited or not. Um, but I also realized that there was an opportunity, and there still is an opportunity for me to make a positive influence, not just in my own life, but in other lives, and make as sappy as and sad as it sounds, it made me realize that I have the opportunity, by building this to really make the world a better place in some way. And what I hope to do is, as I was talking about with some of the goals and plans I have with operating my distillery, is I hope to do that to really set an example um, to other companies. Um, because I honestly believe that by running a business the way I want to run it, like the way we're talking about and the way I've been sticking to this, is I sincerely believe by doing this, it's going to we will get the support we need just by doing the right things. And by doing that, I honestly, sincerely believe that it's going to take these other companies are going to have to, in some way, start matching that. And that's what I hope is. I hope to be as much as difficult it is to turn yourself or to become that first domino. I really hope to become that first domino, or to push over the first domino and hopefully start a little chain reaction that forces companies, businesses, whether whiskey or otherwise, to really reevaluate how they're treating their consumers, their employers, and everything else, and just how they're handling business in general. Because it can be done better. It can be done better successfully, um, and there's no reason not to. The only reason that so many companies are not running their businesses the way they should is because they're not being made to. There's no incentive for them when the whole goal is to just keep making money. Then you stop caring. They don't give a shit about anything beyond the bottom dollar, which is why you have all these companies paying lip service and kowtowing and just you know eating up whatever the flavor of the month is when it comes to marketing and sales and everything else. Um, and that's not something I'm going to do. It's not someone I've ever been. It's not something this company will ever be. And it's not something this brand or this channel will ever be. If you guys notice, there are no paid advertisements on this channel. There are no. Oh, okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Southeast, right there, right there in the fun catch the hurricanes part of Georgia. Um, but yeah, so like I said, is by building this, by doing this, by creating more content, by building and getting like-minded people on board and doing this, um, I I think it's a way that you know I can influence change in a positive way, and not in some like check the box, I want to be the messiah kind of bullshit, but as in helping actually improve lives for people that either work for me or that I work with, or that or you know, influencing companies in a way that you should be influencing companies. Like I think people get it backwards is that people think that influencers are to sell for a company. Uh, Whereas my take on it is an influencer really has an obligation to their constituents, to the people that they influence, to be making sure that they're giving them honesty, integrity, and making sure that they're everything they're getting isn't just because, oh well, I'm a rather than being a paid advertiser, it's people who are just like, hey, I really believe in this and that's why I'm doing it. So yeah, that's kind of my spiel. Sorry, my beard itches. But yeah, that's kind of my spiel on that. Is yeah, if I can make the the world a better place, or if I can do it better, or make an amazing whiskey and sell it and keep things going, and you know, improve the life of 6, 8, 10 people in the process, I'm all in on it. So, and again, there's no pressure for you guys or anyone, but if you do know people who if you find any of this interesting or whatever, or want to be a part of it, feel free to check it out. Feel free to send me an email or whatever. Feel free to tell your friends, colleagues, whatever. Have them check out the channel. Have them check out the web page. Have them check out the Facebook group. Uh, like I said, good people are always wanted here. That's that you can never have too many good people, too many good opinions and too much quality input. And if we can all make one hell of a fucking whiskey together, why not, right? So I'm gonna sip on this for a little bit longer, and we'll just sit here and talk. What else you guys got? You guys lead the charge. I've been talking for like 3 hours now, so I'm gonna let you guys talk, and I will just chime in. Go hit me. I'm gonna try not to make my camera move on it automatically again because I'm really good at that. I'm sure now you guys go quiet. See how it is. Mm, it's good. It's spicy. Like it's spicy. Um, really. What's that? It's like red hot cinnamon, like red hot candy cinnamon with not maple syrup, but like a syrup, like maple esque. Um, maybe even corn syrup. Um, but like light corns. It's an interesting combo in this glass. Let me tell you, because you get the rum spice too, all the rum spice, and of course the single malt is there. Oh, okay. Halfway between Savannah and Jacksonville. Okay, I got a better idea where that is. So I'm almost exactly halfway between Topeka and Kansas City, if that helps. And you guys are going, Kansas is a flyover state. I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Yeah. I live 2 blocks from Kansas University and about half an hour from, well, about 45 minutes from where they play where the Chiefs play football. Mm. Or if you're in NASCAR, I live about 30 minutes from Kansas Speedway. Mm. It's really good. It's impossible to find, but if you guys ever get a chance, obviously you won't try this version because this is the 2019. But if you come across a Balcones rum cask finish, really good. Um, I would be sipping on Catalea. I was actually at the 15th anniversary party last year where it was released. I actually bought 2 bottles of it. They went away. So it was it was October 28th of last year. So a year ago, this coming Monday. Well, the funny story about that is that's my dad's birthday, and I was at Balcones on a VIP tasting. Dad was here in Kansas. Um, Went down there on a whim. It was actually the last opportunity I got to hang out with Patrick Cohn for a while. That was a lot of fun. But the cool thing was, so I ended up with 2 bottles of Catalea. One went to my dad for his birthday, which I thought was really cool because he has a bottle of whiskey from Balcones that was released and labeled as picked up on his birthday. So he has his very own birthday bottle of Balcones at his house, which I thought was really cool. Um, and then the other one, a friend of mine who is also a whiskey 411 supporter. He has his own channel, but he's also a whiskey 411 supporter. I ended up selling that one to him. Actually, realistically, it wasn't even sold to him. It was more like a giveaway as a thank you for subscribing. So he subscribed into our Noble Trash Pan program, which is a way to raise money effectively for donating to Wizard Academy and advancing whiskey education. Part of where Whiskey 411 is eventually heading when we split. But anyway, yeah, so that one ended up going to him as a thank you gift because he was really wanting one and he couldn't get a hold of one. So I was like, hey, you know what? Instead of paying me back, and I bought it out of my personal account or whatever, but I said, instead of paying me back, just donate to this cause and I'll just give you this bottle as a thank you for donating to this cause that I'm doing. And so that's what we did. And that's how that ended up. So now I did get to drink two or three different pours of it while I was at the release party, so I didn't miss out. But yeah, so I had two bottles and now I have none. uh, it's happened with a lot of my Balcones. I used to have, I still have a bottle over there right now of the pot still bourbon. I've bought 6 bottles of that, 4 to 6 bottles of that over the last 2 3 years. I've drank maybe 5 pours total out of those like 4 to 6 bottles, and then gone. Someone always like, "Oh yeah, let me try that." Where'd my bottle go? So next thing I know, I had to buy another one. Then they just continued. So I came across it in the store up in Kansas City when Richard Amiro was up here visiting. He was traveling through to Iowa to visit Cedar Creek, or Cedar Ridge rather, Cedar Ridge. Um, so as he was passing through, we went out for dinner and everything, and then went to the local liquor store to just check out what they had. And they had a bottle, so I picked it up. I was like, I also picked up a bottle of Canadian Club 12-year-old, which was really good. It was like $30. Lots of people shit on Canadian Club. I'm telling you, for a low dollar, affordable, good tasting Canadian whiskey, it's not bad. For $30, it's a really fucking good whiskey, and it's 12 years old. Just saying. Secret. All right, so what else you guys got going on? Anything fun, new, and exciting? Did you get hit with any of the excitement down there on your end? I know Florida got drilled and North Carolina got drilled. You end up okay down there, I hope. You know what's funny is this isn't even the longest live stream I've ever done. If you guys look, and I mean, don't feel free to not watch it unless you really want to. Ah, one time for shits and giggles, this is about a year or so ago. Just for shits and giggles, I actually did a live stream. I was so from my house down to Austin, you take I-35 almost the entire way south. It's like 11 hours. I did a I think it was 5 or 5.5 hour live stream between here and there. Yeah, we haven't had rain here, no real rain in like a month and a half ourselves. We had a little bit the other night, but it wasn't even a quarter of an inch of rain here. But yeah, it's been like 4 to 6 weeks since we saw any rain up here in northeastern Kansas. I guess about an hour west of us got hit a little bit. They got like an inch or two, but yeah, we haven't seen shit here for a month or better. I was actually surprised Texas didn't get hit. Usually when Florida and Georgia and that whole line gets hit, usually at least the Houston area gets fucked a little bit. My daughter lives in the Houston area, so I try to stay aware of the weather. Oh yeah, you may have been. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say there weren't. It was the same as this. There weren't a lot of viewers, but it was fun. And I was driving down I-35 and I was bored, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking live stream while I drive. And so yeah, I started. I think it was just west of Oklahoma City, and ended up live streaming at least all the way to Waco, where I was meeting up with Sarah Poppy from the Whiskey Crusaders. Um, yeah, and so I met up with her, and then I did another one. I can't remember how long I did, but yeah, it was like I did a couple like 3 to 5 hour live streams while cruising down I-35. Just had my phone on the little mount and just yammering away while I drove. It was crazy. So I think you're right. I think you were there for at least one of those. By the way, I see we got someone else joining us. Welcome to the party. Feel free, drop a comment in the chat so we can and say hi to everybody. Don't be a lurker. Oh, Sarah's amazing, people. Sarah is also actually one of the Whiskey 411 members on the Facebook page. So, little fun fact, something I haven't put out here, and something I don't talk about in videos that much, but it's something I do is Whiskey 411. A couple years back, I actually turned it into a place like the Facebook page, which is actually designed as a collaboration. So it's not only for the fans and everyone to get together and chat and everything, but it's also there are roughly 8 to 12 whiskey sommeliers or distillery owners or other YouTube channels that are all members of Whiskey 411 in there, and we do talking, bullshitting, collaborations, and everything in there. So I actually turned Whiskey 411, and that's part of why I want to turn why it's eventually shifting into a nonprofit, is that I want it to act as a hub for content creation in the long term, is a place where different channels can come together, collaborate with each other, communicate with each other, share ideas, and where their all their people can come share ideas and thoughts too. Like think Whiskey Tribe, but focused on the all the parts that bring it together. Powers is good. Three Swallows. I don't think I've had that one. Uh, yeah, Powers of John Lane is good. It got more popular there for a while, and then it kind of fell off again. Yeah, there for a while. Powers John Lane was the shit. I mean, Powers has always been really solid, and up until a couple of years ago, it was actually really cheap. Like if you could find it, it was like really affordable. Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's rough. Our internet and cell service for 5 to 10 days. Yeah, that's rough. So good friend, one of the Whiskey Tribe members, also. I call him Johnny V. He actually lives in North Carolina. They got hit fucking hard. I think he was without power. He may have power now or got some back, but I think they were out without power for like 2 weeks, and they've got like two small children and shit too. Like the car was destroyed, all kinds of other shit. Yeah, he's been having a rough one. Um, I don't want to put his business out there too much. I mean, yeah, he posted on Facebook, so I mean, I'm not putting anything too private out there, but yeah, he was firsthand. Yeah, he was like, it sucked. But he still got luckier than some. So just take those blessings where you get them. All right. All right. So I guess the fourth horseman is not going to say hello to us. I got Mark and the two Joes, and we got a fourth. We got a lurker. Lurker, say hi. No. Like I said, the problem is I can't on this thing. So if I had my actual software up, I can. It actually usually shows me who joins the chat or whatever. For whatever reason, on this live chat, just through the webcam on YouTube Studio, for some reason, doesn't pop up and tell me every member as they join. Um, and I've got it on live chat, so you'd think it would do that, but for some reason, nope. So I'm going to assume that I'm just an idiot and haven't figured out how to set that properly. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say it was amazing how far inland. It was amazing how far inland some of those places did get hit. Um, like I don't know if you guys know a lot about North Carolina, but like Asheville, where one of like some of the heavy damage was, dude, they're like a couple hours from the coast. Like they're a ways. Like like they're not just sitting there right on the coast like you would expect. No, like it's a drive, and they got my grandma's actually from Greensboro originally, which isn't that far from Asheville. I used to spend summers in North Carolina periodically. Every couple of years, we'd go down for summers here and there. It was fun. So I've been to the southern, southeastern areas of the country. Georgia a couple times, typically flying through. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Their infrastructure inland is definitely not designed for that level of damage. Um, I mean, plus it's just on the coast you expect it. You expect if you're going to get clipped by a hurricane, like you don't really think about just getting drilled and that thing just driving through and doing more damage inland than on the coast. It was crazy. Freaking what, 6 feet of rain in like a day and a half? Like what the fuck? I mean, obviously storm surge rain, not everyday rain, but still. I'll take my tornadoes, thanks. They last about a minute and then they move the fuck on. A hurricane is a tornado that wants to hang around a lot. So anyone that says they prefer a hurricane, dude, that just means you like tornadoes that hang around to destroy your shit. At least a tornado will bounce up and down. A tornado may skip you. Hurricane just doesn't give a fuck. It's the honey badger of storms. Hmm. Is your son doing okay? I mean, did he avoid the worst of it? I hope at least. Like I said, I know Asheville was one of the towns that got like wrecked. Okay. I never got stationed in Georgia. I was stationed in Germany. I was stationed in Arizona. I was stationed in Washington State. And I spent time training in California, Louisiana, and South Carolina. Traveled through Georgia a couple times, but never for military purposes or training. Was in for a few years myself. I don't know if. Oh yeah, it's married. I've actually got my honorable discharge certificate up there too. It's just buried behind everything. Uh, all right, gentlemen. Well, I want to take a minute and thank you guys for hanging out and joining me. I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a night for tonight. But I do expect new content and videos to be coming out over the next week or two. Looking at doing. Oh damn! Did the Air Force at least help cover any of that? I know military insurance coverage and things like that are a little weird sometimes because like you don't own it, but the government owns it. So I never ran into that. Thank you, and thank you for being here for basically the whole damn time. You guys may not realize Mark here has been here basically since like minute 5, like the whole damn time, all like 3.5 hours. So again, you guys jump over if you haven't already. Jump over to whiskey411.com. No purchase, just click my click the link for the Baron at whiskey 411. Send me an email with your name and address, and I will get your thank you gifts that your winnings, as it were, sent out to you this week because I want you guys to get the. Oh damn, living off base, and they still didn't pay for it, even with like even though being covered like with BAH and everything. That's rough. I would think they would have had some sort of liability with that. That blows. That's hard, man. That sucks. Yeah, I dude. Did they just walk? They might as well. Did they put it on a rock and hit you in the balls with that $70? That's like I would have just been insulted. Like I would just been like, "Are you fucking serious?" I have a hard time. That's a tough pill to swallow, man. That's rough. But then again, if you ever want to have problems with that, don't get injured in Kansas. Workers' comp laws in Kansas are terrible. It's another thing I forgot to tell you is when I do build this, when I get this everything going, once we get this all built and going, my employees, if they get injured on the job, yeah, they're going to have the workers' comp insurance, but they're going to get their full salary. They're going to get the difference because they're going to make sure that they get their full pay for as long as it is medically necessary for them to be off work. Because having been through this, no employee of mine will ever go through what I'm going through. Not if I can help it. Period. I don't care if it costs me 200, $300,000 out of the business account. That is never going to happen. It was 92. He might have been able to afford a really like a toe off Honda or something back then. Oof. It's rough. Yeah, I mean, I guess on the plus side, uh, with the drinking water issue, I guess on the plus side, bottled water is so common these days that at least having access to drinkable water in the states is at least relatively easy to accomplish, depending on the circumstances. Oh, nice. They gave you an early out. I mean, take your benefits where you get them, right? Yeah, I was actually on active duty from 2001, and then I got out in '06. Was in the reserves for a couple of years, went back on active duty, and then left active duty permanently in 2013 myself. So a total of about 12 to 13 years time in service. Actually, my buddy from that I was in basic training with, we shared a we shared a rack in basic training back in '01. He actually he was in also until the early mid 2000 teens, and then he went guard. He actually just made staff sergeant in the guard not too long ago, and he should be getting his first look for E7 in the guard this coming year. He's got a total, including guard and active time, he's got almost 23 years in, or just over 23 years total between active and guard. Oh, I got you. Well, that's good. It's good that they kind of gave you the early out on that. Oh, okay, right on, right on. Yeah, I got out in 2013 myself. I got caught in the middle of the get up or get out downsizing that was going on. So I decided to look for fortune elsewhere, and okay, up until my injuries, I did okay for myself. Missed parts of it. Really wish, yeah, in some ways, I wish I'd reached that retirement, but at the same time, no regrets. So yeah, I worked. My first stint was in the Intel field, and then my second stint was in quartermaster and supply. So same thing, different flavor when you really think about it. But yeah, that's what I did. And ever since then, I've been actually working toward this goal and working slowly toward this goal with a little at a time over the last 6 years, and in the last year or two, well, about 2 years ago, I really started to really try to push it. And then what was it? July 30th of last year, almost amputated my foot at work in a workplace accident. Had a steel plate go through my shin, crushed, uh, basically cleaved both bones in half and crushed the bone that it did hit. I have a titanium rod in my leg now, in my lower leg, and been on temporary disability for ever since. So I actually have a surgical appointment this week where they'll decide, you know, how things are progressing. So but just this whole process has made me realize that if I can do something else, or if I can make that, maybe it's time to consider alternatives and doing new things, or taking advantage of the skills I have. Oh yeah, Mark, you too. Really great hanging with you, and great hanging with all of you guys. Like I said, there's going to be more content coming soon. Um, do expect over the coming weeks that there will be some delays in the content, and that's not because I'm not making it, but because one of the exclusives that I decided to do is it's going to go to paid subscribers first. They get a 30-day first look. So the new weekly review videos that will be coming out, they're going to hit the subscriber private channel first, and then after 30 days they're going to come active. So they will start hitting consistently. It just may be about 4 to 6 weeks before you start seeing the regular weekly videos again, and that's partly because I want to offer that incentive to the paid subscribers and things like that as we build this channel. Give them a reason to want to subscribe and to be a part of this, beyond just being a part of something really fun and dealing with my goofy ass. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to call it a night. Like I said, make sure get me those emails. I will get you guys your prizes and thank yous in the mail this week. You will get those. I'll still be doing some shorts, things like that, so be watching for those, and I'll still be doing some updates here and there. But you guys in this live stream got a lot of the information that only the paid subscribers are going to be getting from this point on. So you guys got the behind the scenes look before anyone had to pay for the behind the scenes. So congratulations, and hey, thank you guys for being here. It's been fun for me, honestly. It's only been a few of us, but it doesn't matter how big the group is if it's a quality group. So um, I don't know if you guys know my toast here. I'll teach it to you now. Here it is. Here's to good friends, good times, and good whiskey. Cheers to you guys. I'll see y'all soon. Oh, let me check that, Mark. Good question. Mhm. Give me one moment here. I actually had to log back in. That's always weird. Oh, I think it just came through. Mhm. I just saw a notice. My watch told me that I got a notice from you guys. So let me see. Yep, I got you both. You and Joe both. And let's see here. So that was Joe at Joe's Whiskey Den. And Mark, I got you. So Independent Joe, if you are still here, go ahead, go over to Whiskey 411, shoot an email to me at the Baron at whiskey411.com. It's just click the link, pop up, send me an email. Um, with your name and address, and I will get your thank you gift for being a part of the live stream out to you as well. So, all right, guys, that handles that. I did get you both, so I just need you, Independent Joe, and then that'll have you guys covered. And hopefully, and here's the cool thing is if you guys do like this, I do plan on doing more live streams. I'm gonna start them probably with these paid subscribers. However, there is a possibility that those may just become a monthly thing here. So we'll see what happens over time. But thanks you guys for your input. Thanks for the great conversation. I love having you here, and I look forward to your future comments and to checking out what you guys are doing as well. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you again soon. Okay.